reliable. In game 150, he finds Brown. Has been a sensational player. Really, Nathan Broad is like the sun coming up. Is due some appreciation. Sometimes you've got to sit back and say, wow. And he's been a great servant of this club, and today is the day that they can appreciate it. Here he is on cue. Miller. Blood. McIntosh on the run. Should have sweet beat. Burgoyne jumps in. Goes and gets. Takes off. Darcy Burn-Jones. Crowd roaring. Georgiades.
It was a really good decision by Burgoyne. I love when you see the half-backs play an aggressive position on their direct opponent, and then they make a split-second decision to come up and impact. He just had too much speed for McIntosh in that instance. Inside 50 kicks have been precise.
Mitch Georgiades just 7 possessions last week in the loss to Collingwood. Didn't kick a goal. This is within him. Bends it back. Drops the face a little.
Doing some of these skill errors, Geordie, just as Richmond tried to start moving the ball. It was on show last week in the second half. They got some speed going. They didn't kick it down the line, but it's just been poor skill errors so far in leading these Port scores.
Miller funks it out. Wants to get it long. Sort of 37. Liam Fawcett was on debut for the Tigers as well. Came up to make a contest. Farrell took on Lawler. Dangerous thing to do. Lawler's pretty good. Turnover. There is Fawcett. First touch for the local, the South Australian, the Baraka boy. And here's Seth. Super Seth.
Where is it?
Too early.
Well, they got away with it. I just can't help to think that long down the line, they're going into an undersized without Tom Lynch. But it was a really good contest by the 3 Richmond players. And then it was just all about forward momentum, creating contest, forward of the ball, and the recovery. This is how they're going to get their goals today, Richmond. As much as they can bring the ball to ground. And really test the defence of the Port Adelaide Football Club. If the ball is in the air for the majority of the day, I think that will suit Port Adelaide.
The now famous flip from last week, Seth Campbell, the win over Carlton, said that he's happy to pull it out again if he kicks a match winner again.
So he should.
So Wines doing the rock work against Bauer this time. Juan Francis breaks his way through. Forward handle, Rosie, Wines, the old firm, up there. Georgiades.
Stoppage the problem, Geordie. Scored 2 goals from stoppage already, obviously this one. Georgiades having shot a goal from centre bounce. It was far too easy. Just not able to create enough pressure. We know they've got good stoppage midfielders, experienced mids in there, but just need to be able to compete a bit harder there. The Tigers put pressure on Port.
And it's hard because Nankervis obviously needs a rest every now and then. 21 possessions, 35 hitouts, 7 clearances, 2 goals last week. Toby Nankervis led them magnificently. The second ruck's an issue. Georgiades struck down for perfection. What a hole.
Too much time and space, Geordie. He's a centre bounce man. He wouldn't often get that much space as a centre bounce person. Centre bounce mid, be able to hit that target.
We got 4 mids against 4 mids. If you look at the 2 ruckmen there, you've got a 187 Ollie Wines against a 192 Jacob Bauer. I don't think there's ruckmen around the country thinking my job might be obsolete in a few years if this trend continues, but you're right, there's just too much space. Yeah, I think if you're Richmond at the centre bounce, you just need to be back shoulder on the Port Adelaide players, force them inside the contest and just don't let them get out. The Sues are out, too much space, too much speed. And 2 genuine ruckmen in there.
Great news for Port Adelaide. Lukosius back on the field. Did not look comfortable on the sidelines at all, so a real bonus.
Keep an eye on Matters. Justin Francis gets down low, coming off that 45 position game last week against Collingwood. He fought the fight all afternoon, even though it was a demolition job. In the end, Rosie wide. Burn Jones short. Burn Jones, Rosie, the man who kicked it there, was caught.
Seven disposals so far, Killer Rosie. 35 last week, I think. That was magnificent.
Larson. Forces down there. Evans. Aaliyah. Little roller. Burgoyne. Go for Taranto. Worst guy to give it to set it all up. And Francis stands in the hole.
This is where Richmond need to plug up the corridor. You can just see there the numbers. They're trying to make a change on the run, trying to force Port Adelaide around.
Aaliyah. His kicks do hang in the air for a while. Sin.
See there, he wants to go back inside the corridor.
Aaliyah. Burton. Evans. Spears it wide. Georgiades. Pocket picked by Blight. He took it out, but it was right with him. Jacob Blight, another Tiger playing off the rookie list. Bargain mid-season pick last year, Jacob Blight.
Well, he and Miller were good last week, where they competed really well one-on-one. Assisted in the air when needed.
Two number one rucks back at it. Ryan still gets it. David is sweet. Hands it up. Burton could go for home.
That's the one there, though, isn't it, Brownie? Burton, a high half back, just sitting outside the stoppage.
Out of space.
Corridor side. So that is the role of a half forward from Richmond to come up and cover that corridor side on Ryan Burton.
Adam Muzo coaching from the box. Ken Hinkley, as he normally does, coaching from the boundary. Port Adelaide, they've got their cake and eat it too. They've got two coaches, one for now, one for later. They've got Josh Carr, their coach next year up in their coach's box with Ken downstairs. Rosie on his left. There's Blight protecting it.
Nice space, Killer Rosie. Just like to see, love to see a match-up, Geordie. And again, a lot of younger players for the Tigers, just go behind a Killer Rosie for, even if it's for half a quarter, a quarter, just to get an education. He does find space really well.
Guys, the coach is coming off. Not sure if it's planned or not, but that looked comfortable.
Gang tackle. Precise going nowhere, so essentially Port Adelaide have given the fitness test to Lukosius, and it sounds like it's unsuccessful. I'll have to jump at their sub, who's a debutant. Thanks. Heads long, Aaliyah. Got it to the ground. Green. Gave the handle up to Dow. Dropped it. Got away with it. Not a lot of space for the Tigers to use. Farrell was playing in front. Gives it back to Green. Beautiful turn by Steely Green. Inside, delightful. Jack Ross coming off a 28 possession game last week. One of the heroes in that win over Carlton. Brown heads long. Will it get to the back to Green? He was lurking. Reid. Campbell worries him out of it. Hands it up. That is magnificent. If it can be finished. Harry Armstrong, no.
Great pressure though. It was fantastic. We saw that on show last week, the last 2.5 quarters against Carlton. So that's why they were able to get forward. Just couldn't finish off. Jack Lukosius there.
You see there the change of angle in their ball movement. It just gives them options forward. I mean, even the Richmond forwards were fighting one or two down, but still get a scoring opportunity.
It was good last week, Harry Armstrong. 5 possessions only, but he was tough in tight a couple of times, and that was a huge offer for his first goal. He missed it and put Adelaide down the other end quickly. Long watch. Rioli, will he go up? Held his ground. Brown did well. Rioli's second effort. Knocks it to his own advantage, but to his disadvantage. Miller. Caught. Boston. Caught. Crowd screaming. Drew around his body.
Yeah, good fight by Richmond. Just to apply pressure, make it a little bit more messy than what they would have liked.
Short to broad. So many young players and turned over by one of the most experienced there. Darcy Burn-Jones, inside kick. Hits Richards, play on. Post. So Richards.
He'll make it an easier shot today, I would have thought, Joe Richards. Both sides just a little bit messy coming out of half-back. You expect better from Broad in that situation.
So there's Christian Moraes.
There's some ice being applied in the back.
Running machine, they call him, Christian Moraes. About to come on. Ross. Toronto, who was great last week, to Green. Lear should gobble this up. Good fist. Armstrong doing what he did last week a couple of times. Mansell inside. Roller. The bump. The handle. Lear.
He's got his hands to a few of here, hasn't he? He just hasn't been able to clump them. You can only think maybe the sun was in his eyes. That should be a regulation intercept mark for Lear. How do you pronounce it, Dwayne?
Moraes.
Moraes.
Yes, his father Alex gave us the pronunciation pre-game. That was brilliant. It was. He put a little bit of accent on it that I won't attempt. But Moraes is about to get injected into the game. Georgiades. Boak from Rosie. Sweet. Turns away from Ross. Evans. Boak. Sits it up. Glenn Francis might be the jumper here. From 40. Not quite. Lost him. Ran into Drew.
They've had some opportunities. Port Adelaide, 14 inside 50s, 4 goals, 5.
Boston hammers it to safety. Goodman got a touch on it. Lawler, don't argue, Dusty Light, as they've called him a bit this week. Looked good last week in game 1. Green, the dance step. Caught. Evans. Don't wait.
Paul's pressure been much better than it was last week. Only 43 tackles, already up to 10.
Berry to Sin. Just had it on Georgiades' head a little. Brown. Bounced off like a rubber ball. Banks. Half smothered trouble. Toronto tried to mop it up, couldn't quite. Does now. Caught. Burgoyne. Great smother of Austin. Put his heart and soul into that. Goes back again, as he so often does. Hammered.
Oh, Nick Foster's in trouble.
Did he get hit to the head?
Yeah.
The umpire, just in case the players didn't know, it wasn't required. Richards, Rosie, Evans, little fumble, caught by all.
Yeah, just mistakes. And maybe one extra handball too many at the moment, Port Adelaide. Because there's too many options. Yeah, it's just a bit sloppy there, clearly.
Farrell. Ansell got him, put pressure on the kick, forced the kick wider than Burn-Jones would have liked. Takes on Vlosten. Amazing kick. Rioli, gee, clipped it low, it was nearly touched, but he squeezed it in.
Yeah, it was beautiful. A little bit too easy still, but the pressure's been good. So I like the way Port Adelaide have applied themselves. Obviously, Richmond can't go with them at the moment. The midfield's been dominant, but their application of defence has been very good. They've locked it in the front half now, Geordie. And Darcy Burn-Jones nails that kick.
Yep, 16 inside 50s, 5 goals, 5. Willa Rioli doesn't miss those. It's a great kick here by Burn-Jones too. To keep it low, get under the hands, and get it to Rioli really quickly. They're finding it easy at the moment, Port Adelaide, just to find their way through this Richmond defence, give themselves repeating inside 50s and opportunities.
This is where it's got to start for Richmond. The fight back 26-zip. Scores from stoppage, points from stoppage so far this quarter.
Perfect bounce. Sweet and Nankervis. Hopper over it. It'll push the Lawless back. Late for it. Umpire didn't give it to him. Burgoyne. McIntosh.
And guys, the Port Adelaide sub has just come on now. Christian Moraes on the wing, and you might have heard the crowd get up and about when he ran onto the oval.
Burgoyne. Jason, not Sean. Good to have him downstairs with us. The flick is good. Richards, arms free. Oak hands it back. For his first goal as a power player, hit the belly. Big fisted blind. Richards gets it back for a second attempt. Boak, chip, Berry, under it. Ugly bounce for Horn Francis. Good bounce for Blight. Kept it rolling, knocked it sweet. Burgoyne, kickable by his standards. Drills it.
Great kick. Sees old Ben do that a few times against us back in the day. Brings back nightmares, actually. That was beautiful, though. Great to see his development. Saw him last year in that final, contributed well in that winning final against Hawthorn. Been very good. They've been able to obviously win clearance, so getting territory. Wouldn't have been able to put a good amount of pressure on. Certainly a lot better than last week, locking in their front half.
We love wingers when they come down. Set themselves up, ultra aggressive, classy finish.
Your nephew's looking good, Sean.
Well, he started quite well, obviously kicking that goal, but he's making the winging name for himself. Obviously played the final series down back against Hawthorn where he made his name for himself, but he does enjoy the wing.
He's getting better with each passing game. Hopper. McIntosh. Heads inside 50. Alair got there. Big fist. It's into Campbell territory. Mansell. Floats it across the face.
And Port Adelaide are doing all this without Jason Horne-Francis really having an influence on the game. He's fumbled a couple of times, only had the 2 disposals. If he gets going in the second quarter, then they might bite right apart.
Yeah, Richmond did come from 41 points down last week to beat Carlton.
I reckon he's got a better engine than his uncle too, Dwayne. Chase.
Clearly good players amongst the family.
Darcy Byrne-Jones has just gone down the rooms as well. Looked like he had a bit of a cut to the head.
And here he is, Christian Moraes, on earlier, pick 38 in last year's draft. Into the game early. Sweet left it behind. Lines on hands and knees to Boak. One man in game 3, 73. One man in game 1 for Port Adelaide. How that does. Good on to the line.
I reckon he's very clever too, boys. Got a really good lateral movement, good agility, can play anywhere. So exciting times ahead for the pick 38. I think they got a steal there.
He caught the big hit to the head from Pro Brodie Smith pre-season and he wore it well. Doesn't mind it tight, doesn't mind it on the outside either as free kick's been found.
Just got to be careful he doesn't get too frustrated. Horn Francis, as Roo said, just struggling to get into the game. Just 3 disposals.
Wearing Liam Baker's old number 7, was 31 last year. Ryan Mansell heads long. Good hands of McIntosh.
Brandon, I'll let you tell Horn Francis to settle down. I don't reckon he's in the mood to be talked to.
I think it's a good sign, though. I understand the free kick and maybe too aggressive in that, but I think you need to see the physicality from Horn Francis. It tells you that he's on. I think Port Adelaide at the moment, their pressure is really good, above 200, so that's a big tick.
Yeah, he says a lot via body language, Horn Francis. Maybe more than he does by mouth.
Yeah.
He's wandering back to full forward now. It's angry.
Burgoyne, Burton, Richards, Sin. A couple of nice touches in this opening term. Back to Richards. Rioli. Clever. Got it out just in time to Jones. Hits the boat. This will bring the house down. If Travis can kick it from there.
Tell you what, he's still running well at this stage of his career. Coming up towards 400 games. Obviously, games record today for Port Adelaide. He's running, I wouldn't say as well as ever. He's certainly still at a
Probably you or I ever did.
Combined.
28 possessions last week in that game against Collingwood. The majority of them handballs. Kicks 19 handballs. Travis Boak, but still gets plenty of it. Still start of the game. It's a bit too
Camera crew just dropped it down here.
Yeah, won't get a game. Reserves next week.
Travis, by the way, turns 37 years of age before the season's over. Pick 5 in 2006, his 19th season for Travis Boak.
Might get one opportunity here with Farrell if he wants to take off and drive it long.
That's the signal from the bench. One last chance that maybe a Horn Francis screamer. Oh, he gave it a ride. And then gave the front. Oh, gee, that's probably 50 as well. And it's on. Playing big rivals, these two.
That's it, absolutely. Good history. The break's coming at a good time though for Ken Hinkley. Just to check with Jason and Francis, got a close relationship. Just need to calm him down.
So the umpire lets it roll. Richmond didn't really get a true chance to do something with it. Connor Rosey now having a chat to Luke Trainer, who's got some blood coming from above his eye. Spot fires everywhere. Nick Boston having a word to the umpire as well. I wouldn't be going far. Richmond did come from behind last week to beat the Blues. They're going to have to do likewise with these young Cubs against Port Adelaide at home. Port Adelaide led at quarter time, 42-9.
Surprise Prize is back at Mac.
Well, and welcome in everybody. We got Port Adelaide taking on the Richmond Tigers. I tell you what, it's a bit of a slow start for the Tigers, just a 1-3, but Port Adelaide come out of the gates fast, 6-6-42. You know what? Richmond just need to gather themselves a little bit. And thank gosh, a quarter time come. A little bit of a scuffle there on the siren moments before. All going okay there. Albert, welcome back into the live. Addy G. How you going? Zaineth, which one is Mac and which one is Tosh? I don't know. Mac and Tosh. I don't know. Maybe they just come together. Tina Bem Bem, the manager's in the house. Shelty. Good to see you. Good to see you. Here we go. So it was just a fast start, especially after Port Adelaide's thumping last week. They've certainly reviewed all the tapes and got a little bit of fire back in their belly. Richmond, however, they're just taking a bit of the heat at the moment. Can they make a big comeback like they did in round 1 against the Blue Baggers? We'll wait and see. Anything's possible in this game with this two sides. Of course, Ryan out there in the live chat as we broadcast. Big Tigers fan. Hopefully the Tigers go well for you today, Ryan. Let's just have a quick glance. Just before we get into that, just have a look at the changes. In comes Morris for Port Adelaide. Finlayson goes out for Port Adelaide. And, of course, new is Christian Morris. And the sub is Christian Morris. There we go. In for the Tigers, Caleb Smith, Liam Fawcett. And going out was Tom Lynch. He'll certainly be missed down forward for the Tigers. A big target down there. How the forward structure up. Who's going to be the general down there? We'll just have to wait and see. Tyler Sonsi is out as well. Liam Fawcett is the new player. Caleb Smith is the sub there for the Tigers. The debut game is Christian Morris for Port Adelaide, and the milestones for Richmond. Nathan Broad celebrating his 150th game. Well done to him and Liam Fawcett, his debut game. Let's have a little bit of a look at the stats. Quickly go to the fantasy points. If you do that, the first, what's that? Top 8 players all in the fantasy points there for Port Adelaide. Mitch Georgiadis leading the way on 38. The goal scorers for the game so far, One multiple goal scorer, Willie Rioli. I tell you what, look out if he gets going. He's already kicked 2. Ollie Wines, Georgiades, Evans, and Burgoyne, single goal scorers there for Port Adelaide. Seth Campbell, the only goal scorer there for the Tigers at this point in time. Disposal count, who's leading the way, you're asking? Well, that's a good question, because Connor Rose, he's leading the way. Only 2 players on double digits. Connor Rose on 12, 5 kicks, 7 handballs, a mark, 2 tackles, 5 clearances. He's everywhere at the moment. Travis Boak having a good one, 10 disposals, 5 and 5. He's kicked behind. Joey Rich is next best for 8 possessions. Top possession getter for the Tigers, Ben Miller. He's had 8, 5 kicks, 3 handballs, and a mark. Let's hope some of the Richmond players can get in the game, get this game back a little bit closer, because as we always say, folks, a close game is a good game. That's what we love to see. Excitement down to the wire. We don't like these, we don't like these big margins too much. Of course, unless you're a Port Adelaide fan, you'll like it. And there we go. We know Richmond this year has got a bit to work on. A lot of new players coming in. Seth Campbell on 6 there. Georgiades on 6 with the 1 goal, 1. There we go. We'll just roll down. Just in case you're looking for your player, you can see their stats. This is the disposal count. This line here, that is their kicks. That is their handballs. There we go. Nick Floston just with the 3 there for the Tigers. Tim Taranto also with the 3. Jason Horne-Francis, quiet opening term there for Port Adelaide. Just the 3 touches, 1 kick, 2 handballs, 1 mark, 2 tackles. There we go. There is some of your, let me just roll that back up. We'll put that back onto the main scoreboard. We'll head down to the ground for the opening bounce of the second quarter, which is in about 40 seconds' time. Port Adelaide lead by 33 points. Come on, Tigers. And folks, don't forget, give it a thumbs up if you do like listening to the broadcast and what you're hearing and what you're seeing. Don't forget also, put your vote in. Who do you think's going to win this game? So far, it's a split decision, 50% Port Adelaide, 50% Richmond. Can Port Adelaide continue the domination? Can Richmond find their way back into their style of game and get back into this match? All right, folks, let's head back down to the ground. We'll go down for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter.
They've already got Radigalera. He's not far from coming back. There's no Todd Marshall. There's no Zerg Thatcher. So the tools at Port are struggling at the moment.
Got to bank this win while they can at home. Port Adelaide, I need to remind their fans, lost their first game by 91 points to Collingwood, Port's biggest ever loss under Ken Hinkley. They only managed 6 goals for the game in that. They've got 6 goals to quarter time here. Second turn underway. Ross, given some time to get rid of it. Dow. And now Burgoyne.
Need a response from the Richmond midfielders. 5 goals from stoppage that first quarter to Port Adelaide.
Drew Footer deserved a free kick. McIntosh went and got it, but gave it to Farrell. Burton. Rosie. Burton. Jones. Handball smothered. McIntosh knocked down. Ross caught. Evans gets it away. Out in front. Good opportunity for Marias to make a statement in game 1. We'll have to see him pounce on the ball. Burgoyne. Rioli bumping late. It won't matter. Taken inside 50 by Joe Berry.
Well, there's a bit of spice in the game. We saw it happen just on quarter time there. The only way to really answer that is to start to put more scoreboard pressure on.
Pick 15 in last year's draft. Wearing Dan Houston's old number 5. Port Adelaide's greatest ever goal kicker in club history also. Wore the 5 for a long time. This for Joe Berry's first. As a Port Adelaide player, it's across the face.
Guys, no Darcy Byrne-Jones yet. He went into the rooms during that first quarter to get some stitches. Not sure how big a cut is, but we haven't seen him back yet, and he's got no concussion, so good news. He should be right to play.
Speaking of number changes, Ben Miller. Looks a little lighter in the number 12. Moved from 46 over the summer.
Is that Dave Asprey? Number 12?
Might be Matthew Richardson as well, isn't it?
I think it might. I'll see. I could not forget Richard.
Yeah.
Dave Asprey was the last one, though, was he, Dwayne?
I'm still going with Richard.
Help me.
Good crowd in, bright sunshine, perfect conditions for football. Little nudge out there. Big nudge out there, pushing the back Richmond.
Well, Bell has been that target down the line. That's a good kick.
That's better. Change the angles.
Hands it off to Short, who can launch, does launch, goal square or lead. Safe hands.
Well, he's been threatening to do that in the first quarter, hasn't he? Had really good positioning on numerous occasions in the marking contest, just couldn't complete the mark.
Burton.
Yeah, Dominic Lynch is on the end of that one, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that's difficult.
Certainly going to be their challenge today.
They want the switch.
Rioli's out.
Alia sends it in his direction again. Alia's kicks sometimes sit in the air a little longer than the teammate he kicks to would like. McIntosh inside to Brown. Delayed the handball just for a split second. Drew didn't overcommit there on Ross. It was clever.
He knows how to tackle. That numbers out the open side there. The Tigers just couldn't handle it cleanly to get that, find that free target inside 50.
Drew. Rosie. Ringer, Rosie. Just a little 360. Sends it out wide. Richards.
Good run by Rioli.
Working hard.
Yeah.
Thumps it to the 50. Georgiades. A few options inside 50. He's got the Hornet.
This is something down.
And he hands it over. Unselfish. Joe Berry. First goal on AFL footy.
I love that, Bernie.
Yeah, I've been too.
He hasn't had the greatest start to the game, Horn Francis, but just to give it off to a young kid to kick his first goal. But it was started by Willie Rioli off the halfback. His work rate to present an option wide. And the kick just went with great penetration, got there quickly, bypassed all the numbers. This will give you a great angle.
That's good. It just shows he's been able to reset Jason and France quarter time. So obviously he had the angry pills in the first quarter, but quite often when you get those in, Geordie, it's hard to go outside your own head, isn't it? So it obviously shows a good mindset, thinking of his teammates, especially younger teammate, to get his first goal.
We used to have to settle you down.
Lethal used to tell me to stop this today, so
Little pat down there, Curvis got to Ross, ran to a roadblock. Rioli working hard in the middle again for another ball up, which he's never done before today. Sweet. Burgoyne, bang, caught from behind, just in time. Burton, Rioli, getting a ton of it. Sweet. Pokes it inside 50 to the lead. Georgiades got a hand on it. Short, content to see it out. Rioli's an interesting... It's game 92 for Willie Rioli. He's never been in the best two on the ground in a game according to the umpires. He's only ever seen one Brownlow vote in 91 games.
Considering how important he is, obviously a critical element of the West Coast Premiership back in 2018.
Handball chain, but danger. Trainer did well until he didn't. Rioli hands it up to Burgoyne. Time to size it up. That is all class from Jace Burgoyne.
Great finish there. He's had two nice ones today. But the brothers, Charlie Dixon, David Kosh, and Malinauskas too, the SA Premier, has been critical to gather around. But yeah, obviously this support turnover there. I like Trainer, did some nice things last week, Geordie. But the pressure, I suppose it's hard to put pressure on when there's a really bad turnover like that. But they need to lift, and we just haven't been able to bring that same amount of pressure that they showed last week against Carlton.
It just shows you can't relax. Green in the background. See there, Steely Green. just didn't expect Burgoyne to go and get the handball receive. That's 3 goals they've got from handball receives around the 50-metre arc. Just a young player in green. Just not paying attention. Great finish.
Curvis, calm down, winds, had a sneaky chance through to Mead, and they're out the front again. Winds to the hot hand, Burgoyne, caught by Brown, got a handball over his head that worked. Mead, inside 50 for Rioli, just over his head, little toe poke, Georgiades, kept it rolling, tried to go inside, maybe should have gone outside. Moraes, Richards, now Pepper for the miracle! Oh my goodness! Sam Pepper with a ripper.
Degree of difficulty there, Jordy. Fantastic again. Adelaide centre bounce. Maybe get their territory. Just get the speed onto it. Great finish there. You see him back too.
Yeah.
See him last year.
Yeah, such a barometer, isn't he?
Yeah.
Classy finish. He hasn't had much say in this game so far, only the 4 disposals, but you can just see there, just lurking around, shapes his body, along the boundary line, pressure. Gee, that's a good finish.
Isaac Rankin kicked a good goal at the MCG. That might have even been better.
Well, coming from you, Root, that says something.
Well, Isaac was running straight. Sam Pepper was, and it was a degree of difficulty. It was a little bit harder for Sam's.
He was almost in your lounge room at home when he kicked that. Sam Pepper, great work by our crew. Sweet, went hard at it. Hopper. Tackle made by Lawler.
Good to see him in the centre bounce here. Took that one, Sam Lawler.
Sweet, caught the head
Yeah.
on that. If the doctor sees that, they might ask him to come off and get checked. And wow, they'll both get checked on that. Richmond, a good win last week against the Blues. Came from 41 points down to win last week. Tough assignment here, and Sam Banks will need a stitch and a check.
Certainly around the clearances is a part of Richmond's game where they need to improve. They've got a bit of experience around there when you talk about Hopper, Nankervis in the ruck, Taranto. He's getting beaten convincingly at the moment.
Ruckman dance the dance. Moraes, slick hands. It's looking good on debut. Berry likewise looking good in game 2. They may have found a couple. And that was the beautiful thing about the Tigers last week. They look like they've got a couple of good ones. Sam Lawler looked fantastic. Luke Traynor looked good. Harry Armstrong. It's a tougher assignment at the Adelaide Oval. Big fist to the boundary.
Glenn, they might have another one, Port Adelaide. Jack Whitlock, their big fella, over 2 metres tall. Haven't seen him play AFL yet, but they're pretty confident he's going to turn out all right for them in the future.
And it changes your world. Not just the players themselves believe. We've got some good ones here, but the fans can't wait to get back to the games. Vaughan Francis through that traffic. Farrell, he knew he had Sin on the run, and he's looked good today as well. Josh Sin, and he finds the target, Powell Pepper. Been a tough road for Josh Sin. He's picked 12 in the 2021 draft. It's a tough draft to be really good in, given that the first 4 in that draft were Jason Horne-Francis, Sam Darcy, Finn Callahan, and Nick Dacos. If Josh Sin, if they pick 12, can start to rise, that would be huge. Also in that draft for the Tigers, Tyler Sonsi, Tom Brown, Sam Banks. Sonsi dropped again today. Caleb Smith, by the way, is the sub. He's the one in for Sonsi. Works its way back.
They're dominating territory at the moment. Port Adelaide, 6 inside 50s, 3 goals, 2. Everything is going their way at the moment. I just wouldn't mind seeing Richmond just try and pick them apart, create some options, some lead-up options, take some marks. They haven't taken too many marks in the game already.
So Miller wide, Ali used his body.
Yeah, a trip or a push.
Yeah, it was about this time last week that Richmond really started to change it up. You're right, Geordie. Maybe they will have to change it up. Adamuze, as you saw in the box. They'll have to start pulling some levers. Evans.
Well, they're only taking the 13 marks for the game so far. You compare that to 49 of Port Adelaide. So one team's controlling the ball with little short kicks. The other one's just going long to a contest, just not working at the moment.
Or is he a sizzler? It's got Burn Jones.
So you just act as if you're going to line up for goal and maybe find one late.
Difference kicking skills too. 73% Port Adelaide, 57 to Richmond. Obviously they're under a fair bit of pressure at times.
When you're 53 points up, sometimes you can have a crack at it from here. No. Then Curvis got there, lost in big fist. Now Pepper kept it alive. Little push off. Bounce pass.
It's good stuff.
So still where he's dangerous though, Pal Pepper, isn't he?
Yeah.
You see.
Oh, yes, target man out. Get the ISO on him.
The old Rob Harvey, hands on the hips.
Yeah.
And then away he goes.
Blight for company, back into play. Knock to the front, just missed him. Burn Jones rolled it. Wants to be a chance. Georgiades. Horn Francis. Speaking of body language, he just didn't quite have enough body language to get it to go.
Last year, Port averaged 34 points from stoppage a game. Today, already up to 48. That's where the damage is getting done.
Loston thumps it 2-on-2 on the wing. Dow got a hand on it. Jones. Dow. Morales corralled in nicely, and McIntosh saddles up Ollie Wines.
They've got some experienced midfielders, Richmond. Triano, Hopper, McIntosh in there as well. Obviously Nan Curvis, but this goes to show you've got to have the full complement all around as well. Not just the inside players, Geordie.
The other thing with Richmond, they need that marking player down the line. So Port Adelaide are quite small inside their forward 50. I just wouldn't mind maybe seeing either a Blight or a Miller sort of go forward and be that marking contest at the moment. You see there, Port Adelaide's forward line is quite small.
Burn Jones. The lead from Pau Pepper. Got it. Oh, almost into the laps of those in the front row.
It's a beautiful kicks
Yeah, it's
now.
been a feature.
100% from his 7 kicks. There's one earlier on where he set up Rioli in the goal scorer in the first quarter. It's like showing Burns now after his last one.
Well, it's the same spot.
Sort of left to right ball flight.
Take the responsibility. For 2 goals from the same spot for the quarter, missed to the near side. Nice to see the fans up close and personal. Ben Miller doesn't get many rests. Only player in the win over Carlton last week to not get a rest. Played 100% of game time. They're really relying on him now. Drew, Sin, nice knock to Farrell. Going back to go forward. Evans, time to mob it up, just in time. Lockie Jones. Jackson Mead. Rioli, little pop pass. Turnover. Brown loops it. Handball further forward. Gee, hammered. Brown gets it back. Chip, pocket. That's a great kick. Absolutely. So Brown is a good user. They try to get it into his hands. And Ryan Mansell Try and stop the rot here.
I think if Horn Francis had his time again, he would have driven that long to the goal square. Port Adelaide had a spare. The 2v1 just tried to be a little bit too cute.
Very good last week, Ryan Mansell.
Really.
Kicked 21 goals, 10 last season, the second most for the season for the Tigers.
Oh, close.
Adam Jose, second season as coach. Win today. He'll have as many wins this year as he did last year. It's a tough assignment now. Turnover, Armstrong, handball. Chip kick to the goal square.
It's good signs though. Forward half turnovers, forward half pressure. Try and create some repeat entries.
It's Liam Fawcett on debut from the Paraka Bulls, local South Australian team. Gave us some superstars like Craig Bradley and Alan Didak, little club among the Avatars paddocks.
That's your club, isn't
It is.
Jeez.
Yeah, my dad used to.
You let us in well, didn't you? I'll give you that $50 for that.
Absolutely.
Dad used to scare the cows off the oval before they played at the original oval. Jones. Sim. Run down by Mansell.
Need to go now. Good numbers for charging forward.
So here is Liam Fawcett. Can he launch one from 50? The local product. Family in the house. Big goal from the Bull from Paraka.
Well, terrific work by Mansell. Just sniffed a turnover. Great to close in, complete the tackle. You see here, beautiful. Eyes are busy. Well executed tackle. And then to be able to execute going forward. Lovely kick in the middle of three Port Adelaide players. Here's a good finish. Give the young fella some confidence.
He's poor, the man.
Jeez,
Yeah,
big
he's
kick.
an extra 5 metres. Well done. First game, first goal. Great kick too. I love the way he summed it up. It's a great
Right, isn't it? Yeah.
Practice still got cows. Do they? Hyper being built out.
No, it was the Avatars paddocks. So in the old days, you'd
No cows left.
absolutely. It was known for its smell, actually. Paraka in the old days for
Those sort
more
of cows.
today. Changed a little now. From the restart. Nankervis gets the knockdown. Good attack from Horn Francis. Nankervis kicks it off the deck. Can they get back-to-back goals here? Bergman, brilliant. Turnover. Chip kick is pretty good. It's got in-space power who can line up.
Mate, I think they haven't been able to do in the first quarter and a half was win the clearance, get territory, and then create that forward half turnover, Geordie. Great effort, great execution.
We've enjoyed some space. Bauer, he's been in a contest, a marking contest down the line. A lot of this first quarter and a half. Competed well.
Another mid-season rookie draft pick still playing off the rookie list, Jacob Bauer. Did this last week, the Tigers, just when you thought they were gone, they started coming.
You're right, Brownie. Starting to get some dominance around the middle of the ground. A little bit more territory. Front half turnovers. And some better decisions going inside forward 50. You can just see here, just the pressure coming forward. Ross on that occasion. And a really clever kick. I'll grab some confidence from these last two plays, being able to score. Big chance to go back to the middle of the ground and do it all again.
Absolutely, good finish there. So, good set shots for the two young boys, last couple.
Oh, good last week.
Absolutely, yeah, it was amazing. 75% goal kicking accuracy. But
13-4.
Jack Ross, good to see him get involved. Only 2 disposals. He was magnificent last week, so he needs to lift.
One of the great leaders of the competition, Toby Nankervis. He's fighting a fight in there. Does the right work, knocks it down, goes back in, tries to get the clearance. Hopper does. The half forward. Barrel standing in the hole. Drew. Evans, Mead, Oak, goal square, flicked away last second, Burn Jones' direction. Down, got down, Richards, and then Francis, Georgiades, some room to move, how to use it wisely.
Good effort there. Not sure about Toby Nankervis having to be the ground level player deep in defence. He's working hard enough in the centre of the ground. When he gets the other Richmond players at ground level there, just have a look at it. Big toe. Just doing his best. Not expecting a huge amount though. Finished by Georgiades. He's got a pretty good day. 11 disposals, 2 run, 8 scoring involvements.
They're good balance, I think, Port Adelaide. That shot gave us a really good indication of the inside balance to the outside balance. Georgiades, on that occasion, was a part of the perimeter. Burgoyne's been a part of it. Sometimes Richmond players are too inside the contest, too many numbers, and allowed the Port Adelaide side to get on the outside.
Nankervis again in the middle of it, nearly got his own clearance. Lawler came in hard off the square. Drew. Georgiades flicked down, second effort was good. Richards gets a moment here, feeds it out towards Travis, couldn't quite pounce. Floston, hands and knees. Is that high? Look high from here, it's high from there as well.
Gee, the differential in the disposal is amazing. Port Adelaide 223 to Richmond 118. That is the biggest first half differential in the history of champion data, over 100 different.
Even the marks, really, 61 marks to Port Adelaide, 17 to Richmond.
That's huge. So do they change it up at half-time, the Tigers? Try and possess it a bit more, hold it a bit more?
Well, I think so. I'd like them to try and move the ball in a different manner. Maybe those short 45 kicks. Just try something different. You may as well. You're 50 points down, trying to attack the same way.
Dorado in space. Brown. Short. Dylan Jones with the hospital handle.
I think you can explore a little bit, Dwayne. There's no doubt about that.
Dorado. Slick. Ross.
They dragged it in.
Yep. And Drew's looking around for the umpire. Where are you? There you are. Okay, thanks.
I see someone coming past. Here we go again.
Farrell sends it long. That's out of here. Tony Farrell from 60.
How many times do you have to do it, Dwayne, before Richmond players realise?
Inexperienced team, just falling asleep, not switched on to that.
Gee, that's it.
Foul around the back. We've seen Bailey Dale, we've seen Dan Houston do it last couple of weeks. It's great to watch. Players need to be aware of it now, though. Just can't get access to the ball at Richmond, can they? It's when they do, they just can't get a clean clearance out. They're under pressure from Port Adelaide. Port's tackling's been great.
See there, Taranto. You got to be better. I mean, that's a senior player. You've got to have better awareness than that. They're the little things that you try and pass on to the younger generation. They see behaviours and acts like that. It's not good enough from the senior players. Terrific kick, though.
Sweet and Nankervis. Half-time can't come quickly enough for the Tigers, so they can reset now. Rosie has to run that little backward step to delay everything. Gave it to Moraes, who's looked really good on debut. He said that he wanted to be recruited by a club whose fans care. The demand wins. He wanted to go to a football club. And he was really happy when Port Adelaide picked him up. Power Pepper. Rioli. Out of play.
What does he mean by that, Dwayne? A football club that fans care. They all do, don't they?
I think they do, but some have got more
Okay.
history than others, perhaps. Some fans have been barracking for their club for 60, 70 years.
Yeah, and you just want to see them tear us apart every weekend, every second weekend.
A lot of these Port fans in the house that have been barracking for their club for longer than 60 or 70. Hand up to Sin. The chip kick. Richards turns and goes to Bergman. Lifts it wide. Darcy Burn-Jones turns inside on Dow. Heads long. Power Pepper.
Yeah, it's just up there. The pressure is Richmond's pressure, a limit transition. So Port go in there and there. And it was relatively easy, wasn't it, Geordie?
Like the training group.
That's right. So it's not that they're not trying, but inexperienced. Port have got their tails up. Coming off last week, would have been a challenge as well for the Tigers.
Kicks his second.
Port fans must be buoyed by Sam Pepper, especially this quarter. He's really warmed into the game nicely, Geordie. His energy around the forward 50. He bangs and crashes. He goes for marks. He's obviously kicked some nice goals as well. Real cold hero, obviously. He's an energiser for the team, isn't he?
It's always nice when the ball movement further up the field is nice and quick. You can just slip in behind the Richmond defence. But I think you're right. Sometimes it's these easier type of games you can really work back into some confidence and some form.
I think it's Burn-Jones' kicking back.
Plenty.
Yeah.
So Adam Smith out there now, sub for the Tigers. Banks has been subbed out. For the record, Christian Moraes barracked for the Swans as a kid and loved the Swans history as well, the South Melbourne
History buff.
Sydney history, loves his footy. Hopper. Blast it long. Good attack from Fawcett, knocked it to ground. Campbell. Right. There's a live wire. Seth Campbell.
Yeah.
One of those that can bring you back into a game. First game as a teenager against men in Tassie. He kicked 16 goals and had 32 possessions from a wing. From a wing. First game against men. Old bloke. Who's this kid? Miller crunched by Horn Francis.
He used to win half a dozen stubbies. For that, he had half a dozen cokes.
Put to go out and drink them. Bergman. Right. Bergman's one of those players that could go maybe to another level this year as well as a great all-round sportsman as a kid. Maybe he can. It's one of those Port Adelaide improvers.
Sorry, Dwayne. Sam Banks is out and subbed. He's got concussion as well as that cut on the eye.
Okay. Drew. Bogue. Wines. Horn Francis. Just protected the drop zone with his back nicely. Pal Pepper might get this. Floats it over the top. He needs a bounce. Pal Pepper. Oh, post. Too selfish.
Too easy from stoppage. Just a big possession from the Tigers at the moment. Port got their game, part of their game going. They're spreading from contest really well.
Dow to short. Right. Short in the flyby. 2-on-2 ahead of the ball. Good grab from Fawcett. Looking good, the 19-year-old. Sends it long.
Great kick.
Bow.
Showed some nice things, right, Dwayne? Beautiful goal there about 5 minutes ago and a great kick in field. In field play there, which is really important as a key forward. So often we think of key forwards being on the end of it. Just as important they have to be a strong field kick.
Look at Sam Darcy last night. Charlie Curnow.
And the left back, Sam Darcy.
Left or right.
Well, Jack was very underrated. Jack Rewell, great Richmond man. He was a very underrated field kick.
Across the face into the behind post. Well, it's good to see Liam Fawcett. They preferred him, given Tom Lynch was out ahead of Samson Ryan, so they gave him the opportunity, Liam Fawcett, to be the key forward in this one. He's still only 19. Grew 10 centimetres in the last 3 years to become key forward option. Bounces out of play. It's actually from Port Adelaide's old recruiting zone. That was Port's recruiting zone once upon a time. Baraka.
He's a good runner and not dissimilar to a Justin Westhoff, as I got to explain to him pre-game today.
Yeah, good call, Rob. Bogey. Splendid pick-up on the move. Through to Wines. There's a different Port Adelaide this week. Waited for it, Rioli. Great spoil. Caleb Smith trying to earn his keep. Subby's on and gets himself good possession there. Mansell inside a minute, and they get one late. Inside. Lawler, good use. McIntyre, hunted down. Gone. Richards cooked him. Port Adelaide might get one on the rebound. Pokey. Wines. Christian Moraes unselfish. Could have gone himself. Rioli. That's as good as it gets from Port Adelaide this season.
Good by Richards. Nice one to endear yourself to your teammates. Yeah, great effort to come down, chase down, tackle from the offside. That's what you want to see. Obviously, the scoreboard's ticking over nicely mechanically, but just keeping a close watch of those defensive acts as well, Jordan.
Yeah, there's no doubt when they review the game on Monday, it will be more about that type of stuff than all the goals and the sexier stuff. The chase down tackle. Then you can see he's off. I've actually liked Ollie Wines' game. Ollie Wines has found some outside balls, some ball running forward and being that link player. We don't often associate his name with that type of play.
He's never had a 3 Brownlow vote game.
Might be in line today.
This might be it for Willie Rioli, and he keeps going in the second half. Travis Boak getting plenty of it. Fed that out. And gee, hard Sin. Might be the best game to see Josh Sin play as well. Hard attack there.
You heard that?
Game 12 for Josh Sin. Siren sounds. Listen to the crowd. Absolutely love that. The Tiger Cubs have come to town after their win over Carlton last week. David Koch and the Port Adelaide board were content with the bounce back so far. 91 points they lost by last week, Port Adelaide. They lead by 65 with a half to play. 13-11, plays 3-6.
All right, folks, there we go. It's half time, and Port Adelaide continue on their merry way. 13-11-89. The Tigers 3-6-24. Port Adelaide putting on 7 goals, 5. It was an avalanche of score there for Port Adelaide. 2 goals, 3 to the Tigers. Well, I think for the Tigers, this is a learning curve today. They've just got to put into action some of their plays and just try things out, because the game looks like this could be getting away from Richmond in a big way. So I think this is a good way for Richmond just to do a few things to see how they go in this game. But let's hope they can come back, mount some type of comeback, because we know Richmond can do that. Although it's a little bit tough without Tom Lynch, their leading target down forward for them. We'll be back in a moment with the commentators. We'll be back in. Oh my gosh, I'm tongue twisted. We'll be back with the commentators when they come back. Let's just duck over there, have a look at some of these key stats. Of course, I like to give you a bit of a look at the AFL fantasy points if you play the game. William Drew 81 on top, Willie Rioli 72, Connor Rose 67. They are your top 3. The goal scorers in the game so far, we've got multiple goal scorers there for Port Adelaide. It's raining goals there for Port Adelaide. Willie Rioli, 3 straight goals. He's kicking them well off the boot. Sam Powell-Pepper, Mitch Georgiadis, and of course Jace Burgoyne, all with 2 goals for Port Adelaide. Ollie Wines has snared 1. Kane Farrell has got 1. Evans and Berry also single goal scorers there for Port Adelaide. For the Richmond team, no, there's not many. Liam Fawcett, Seth Campbell, and Jacob Bauer, single goal scorers there for the mighty Tigers. Let's have a look who's the ball magnet on the ground so far this afternoon. Of course, Connor Rose. He's having a good one. He's starting to rack up the possessions. 19. Connor Rose has got so far. 10 kicks, 9 handballs, 2 marks, 4 tackles, 6 clearances. He's having a cracker of a game. Travis Boak up to 16, just to behind. He's having another good game too. Jace Burgoyne up to 15. The top half dozen all Port Adelaide. Of course, the top disposal getter for the Tigers, Ben Miller there with 14. Not going too bad. 9 kicks, 5 handballs, 3 marks. Jacob Hopper, the next best for the Tiger. But if you have a look at all this here, folks, this is just blue. That is Port Adelaide, all the leading possession getter. So it's pretty. I tell you what, the Tigers have got to get back into it. 2 players from Richmond have got double digits. That is it, and the rest are all single. Jason Horne-Francis lifted, had about 6 touches in that second term there for Port Adelaide. He's up to 9. Sam Powell Pepper, try and say that 10 times fast. He's had the 8 disposals. He's had 5 kicks, but he's kicked 2-2. Not a bad effort. He's got a good ratio there. Toby Nankervis, the big man for the Tigers, he's had 7 touches, 23 hitouts, so he's not doing too bad. All right, we're going to get back down to the commentators. I'll give us a bit of analysis, etc., and a little bit of story up until half-time, and then might have a little bit of a look at the team stats.
Bradman statue out the front here of the Adelaide Oval of the 4-time Magarey medal winner, arguably South Australia's greatest ever player, and Travis Boak moved past him. The game's played in the Port Adelaide jumper this afternoon. Brilliant moment. Family in the house, Chicky Boak, his mum here as well, and he's having a nice afternoon at the office so far as we head downstairs and have a chat to Sean Burgoyne and Mark Rashido about our host plus player of the game.
Sometimes when you're sitting on the boundary line, Sean, you get the up close and personal spot. We saw that with Sam Powell Pepper's goal there. What a ripper.
It was, well, he was running towards the boundary. As soon as he kicked it, the crowd behind him just roared, didn't they?
He's been working back into it, had his ACL last year, hasn't been able to find much of the ball, was quiet last week, but the degree of difficulty with that one, he's running straight at the boundary. When you do kick from that angle, though, you can get a little bit of left to right with it. Jason Ackermanis did it years ago, and that might give him the confidence just to kick into another gear in 2025.
Well, they're shooting the ball around, aren't they? You've seen Horne-Francis hand pass the ball to Berry in the goal square, and they're looking for each other. You can do that, but you can also overuse the ball as well. Yeah,
they've had 116 extra disposals. I think the marks are 70 to 26, twice as many inside 50s. They're having a bit of a field day in the pass, so turning it around from what they dished up last week. There's Sam Powell Pepper just working his way into the season very nicely. Tried to knock out McStay last week, didn't he? He's frustrated, a little bit like Horne-Francis, but he's certainly working his way into some form. Back to you, Dwayne.
Thanks, Mark. What have you made of it, guys?
Well, I think it's a challenge for Richmond, obviously. It seems like a training drill, but I reckon where they've got a real strength is on the outside, and it's through decision-making from these Richmond players, and mainly the perimeter players. Here you can see Green and Burgoyne. They've got 5 of their 13 goals from handball receives that have been a mark outside of their own forward 50. And once again, so another lesson for Green. So you can use these points as teaching. Just get sucked in and allows Sim to the outside, and allows the Port Adelaide players to keep transitioning the ball inside forward 50. So I think some of the learnings at half-time for these Richmond outside players is to hold perimeter, force them inside into the contest.
56 points from stoppage to Richmond's 2 points.
Soon all the teams bounce back from a poor performance early in this season to get their season up and running. Port Adelaide hoping to do the same. Lost by 91 points to Collingwood last week at the MCG. 65 points to the good with a half to play here at the Adelaide Oval.
All right. While they're gone on a break, as I said, we'll duck over. We'll have a little bit of a look at the team stats as they stand, and we're going to look at a domination, I feel, everywhere on this team stats chart. And of course, looking at that, all I can say is wow-wee. 116 disposals plus to Port Adelaide in a half a game, 257 to 141. If you have a look at Port Adelaide's season average, it's only 365. Only 365. So they are on song for a huge match. 130 to 80 in the kick department, 50 ahead, 66 in the handballs. Richmond have just had no time with ball in hand. Inside 50s. Richmond have been inside 18 times for 9 scoring shots. 50% they're going at. And of course, look at Port Adelaide. 35 inside 50s. As I said again, their season average 45. So they're just about there. For 24, 65.7 the efficiency inside 50. That is, well, that's nearly as big as you see it. And of course, the disposal efficiency up to nearly 80%. Port Adelaide, wow-wee. They are on song. They are just having a field day out there today. Free kicks, not too many free kicks there, which is good to see. Umpires keeping the whistle in their pocket, 8 to 9. The hit-outs, Richmond not doing too bad. They've got the big man, Nankervis there. He's doing well. 25-23, Port Adelaide +2. The clearances +11 to Port Adelaide. Centre clearances, though, good to see Richmond on terms there with Port Adelaide. 7 apiece there. They just need to use the ball a little bit more wisely when they get that centre clearance. They need to open up that forward line, create a little bit of magic. Let's see how they do in the second half. Stoppage clearances, though, Port Adelaide well on top. 19 to 8. Contested possession, both teams contesting the ball pretty well. Richmond not too bad there. 60-71 to Port Adelaide, but look at the uncontested possession. 181 to 73. Pardon me. That's just unheard of for a half of football to be dominated by 108 already. I would think the marks for Port Adelaide to be pretty high against Richmond too. Port Adelaide just controlling this game. They've got the game on a bit of string at the moment. Turnovers, well, 24-28. Actually, turnovers are pretty low for both teams at this present moment. As we suggested, have a look at the marks there, 70 to 26. There we go. Port Adelaide well in control, controlling the ball everywhere. Even marks inside 50, 13. Season average of 12. They've passed that up until half time. The Richmond backs, they just need to work a little bit harder in this game, put a little bit more pressure, work a little bit closer to their man. 3 inside 50 marks to the Tigers, and they're just not getting the delivery down there at the moment. Contested marks 4 to 1 to Port Adelaide, doing well there. The tackles, well, as I said, Richmond need to put a little bit more pressure on. Tackles 36 to Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide not really that tackling side, as you can see, 43 their season average, already at 36. Richmond though 76. They're normally a high pressure tackle team. That's just not working for them today. They're well under that. They should be up around 36 to 40 so far, but they need to work on that part of their game. As I said, the tackles inside 50. Richmond, they're only 2, so their forwards have got to put a lot more pressure on their tackles inside 50. Port Adelaide 8. There we go. All right, let's get back to the main scoreboard. We're only got about 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes to go, and of course, in the, let me just have a little bit of a look. I want to give you the scores from the last game. There we go. So the winners so far in this round 2, of course, we had the Hawthorn Hawks topple over Carlton by 20 points on Thursday night. Last night, it was an epic win to the mighty Collingwood Magpies, 76, defeating Footscray, the Western Bulldogs, by 6 points, a solitary kick. And of course, the game we just saw before, well, it was a little bit of game like this, where the Adelaide Crows gave Essendon an absolute spanking, 161 to 100. I know Essendon scored 100, but I think Adelaide took the foot off the pedal a little bit in that game. And of course, this game, we have, what's that, about 60, 65 points. Port Adelaide in this game so far ahead of Richmond. It's a big lead, quarter at half time. Don't forget, folks, the next game following is at 7:30 p.m. Melbourne time. That's St Kilda taking on the Geelong Cats at Marvel Stadium. Should be another very, very interesting game. A game where I would expect Geelong to win, but can St Kilda do it on their home turf against Geelong? That's coming up a little bit later on in just under a couple of hours' time. So there we go. It's half time. And Port Adelaide doing it well. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with the commentators.
Beautiful conditions for football at the Adelaide Oval. Bright sunshine. Port Adelaide by 65 points as we head downstairs to Mark Prosciutto.
You got Adam Uzo, Richmond coach. Tough first half, mate.
Yeah, not a lot went right there. Yeah, we're getting smashed around the ball. Just they're dominating territory, and so we've got a bit to work with. But young group, we're just all I can hope for right now is the way that we respond.
So what have you told them to get into in the third quarter?
Yeah, we just want to change our mindset. We're a bit scattered on offense and around clearance. It feels like we're trying too hard. They've kicked 8 goals, 7 from clearance, and it's just way too many. So hopefully we get a response and some of our leaders stand up.
Well, hopefully you can make a comeback like last week.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Thanks, mate.
Adam Uzo, a lot to like about Adam Uzo's second season as Richmond coach. He did have a game as coach of the Melbourne Football Club back in 2022. Best win as a coach last week against the Blues, and they came from 41 points down to win by 13 points. Let's hope they can mount a comeback today as well. But a couple of injuries in this game. Here's the injury to Banks that's seen him subbed out. Hopefully he's okay. He will miss the week with a concussion protocol. Got a few out as well, like Tom Lynch obviously out of this game, Dion Prestia, Josh Gibcus, Noel Bolter, Michael Fiddle-Fowl. So hopefully they don't lose too many more, especially their experienced brigade.
Well, a couple of experienced midfielders to get going. So Ross, Taranto, 4 and 2 disposals in that first half. They need to really lift. Jacob Hoppers had the 12. But they're more contribution from their senior mids.
Port Adelaide's first home game of the season go to plan so far. Lines slipped it behind for a second, had to go back in and got caught.
Just following on from what Adam Uzo was saying at halftime, this is the most points from stoppage in the first half of football Port Adelaide have ever scored. 8 goals, 8, 56.
Coming off their worst ever loss last week under Ken Hinkley by 91 points to Collingwood, so they're going to hope to right some of the wrongs of last week.
Defensively, very much better. Kenny, be happy with the response. He's always going to come. Proud team.
And Curvis. Jones has been good. He's been great, really. Lockie Jones.
This is where I want to see a change in Richmond, guys. I want to see them tighten up the teasing distance to the poor uncontested players so they can't get overlap run. I reckon they can tighten that distance up.
Yeah, good call, Sean. Caught on the run through the middle. Rosie got it. Heads long out the back. The Hornet is up. Can't pluck it. Don Francis, Miller. South Pepper ties it up.
Yeah, it's nearly you go to no teasing distance, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah, it is. The closer you are to the ball, the closer you should be to your player, and force the long kick earlier.
Sweet and Nankervis. Brown up against the boundary. He kept that alive, though, he didn't.
72 marks in the opening half for Port Adelaide.
Son of a gun, Tom Brown. All 84 games for Geelong, not enough for Tom to be grabbed under the father-son rule.
See here, Pal Pepper loading up the defensive side of the stoppage. Usually he's that player that might become protection here, but he may also get on the move with a Rioli, Rosie.
Yeah. So Brown eyeballing him, Pal Pepper, trying to not let him get away. Rioli picked their pocket and poked it to the pocket. Darcy Burns.
He's had a great day. In fact, magnificent first half. Kicking skills on display. Other one to mention, Will and Drew. The Croy flyer, Geordie down our way. Not much favouritism towards him. He's had 11 tackles in the first half, which is a good effort considering they're so far in front of the scoreboard.
Surprised you lasted until now to mention him.
Yeah, just trying to hold, baby.
The Croy flyer, I love it.
Croy flyer.
A couple of Warrnambool boys with us today.
Kenny Hinkley camping our boy.
Yes, that's true. Mansell goes long inside 50. Jones did well. He just knocked it away from Armstrong last second.
That's part of the development of young Armstrong. He'll develop that craft, that body craft, where he'll be able to just come back into Jones, use his momentum to stop and roll back, take the mark.
Armstrong in game 2. Jones in game 58. Burgoyne, Lines. Broad in game 150. Celebration day for him. 3-time Premiership star. Short.
It's their role to really develop these young kids, isn't it now? Broad, Vlosten.
Chip kick inside 50, front on contact. Mead. Farrell. Boak. Buffeted out of it, still good enough. Protected it, gave it to Aaliyah. Paul Francis spent that before it earned it. To Ratto. Little 1-2 with Tresice, and now outside the boot from Armstrong. To Burton. Had all the answers, Port Adelaide. Richards having a good game too for Port. Ole lifted his arms up. Jones, the spear long. Sam Powell-Pepper.
There's not much you can do about that.
Transition though.
Yeah. No frontal pressure. Big long kick from Jones. And Miller takes a really assertive positioning. So initially, great positioning. You want to be in front of your forwards, but once they get that transition space through the middle of the ground,
A lot of trust in your teammates upfield to put pressure on.
there has to be pressure. Yep.
His third. Drills it. And the margin grows beyond 70.
The 2 goals in the second term was really when he started to hit his straps. But the only player so far you'd like to see from a Port Adelaide point of view is Horn Francis. He hasn't really got into the game. But Powell-Pepper has been hugely influential. You just see here the transition, great view from behind the goals. Burgoyne takes off. Richard wanted to go to him first, and Lockie Jones was the second one. You can just see there Powell-Pepper slipping in behind. Oh, Ben Miller, not much you can do.
Port Adelaide's biggest ever win over the Tigers is 84 points. It's grown to 72 now with plenty of game time left. Sam Powell-Pepper at the start of the show with 3. Jordan Sweet has established himself as the out-and-out number 1 ruck for Port Adelaide. Knee, turnover. Rosie, Moraes. The running machine. Chips it inside 50. Goes and gets it back again. And he does love a 1-2. Heads to the top of the square. Early fly from Vlosten. Horse kicks to the back. Rioli! Off his shin into the post. It was too easy.
Yeah, no, they'll want the tape to stop now, Richmond. Starting to see some efforts, just non-committal. Not similar to Port Adelaide last week. So, players are always thinking they're trying, but certainly doesn't look like it around the contest. Got experienced midfielders in those centre bounce. Just an easy cop-up by Jacob Hopper, experienced mid. Needs to be better than that.
Caleb Smith, who was best on ground for Richmond's VFL team last week with that short pass. He's come on as a sub and out of play. Moraes, another possession for him. To Mead. McIntosh.
There's no excuse for effort, is there, Brownie?
Absolutely, especially these senior players. They need to be able to show these Richmond youngsters, which there plenty of them out there, need to show them the right habits. And that's still grinding in games, even if you're 10 goals down.
Miller to Luke Trainer. They picked 21 in last year's draft in game 2. Doug Wade's grandson. A little bit of blood from his eye still, but it's not trickling, so he's allowed to stay out there. Armstrong crashed it to ground. Mead.
It's too easy.
With the speed. To Burgoyne, to Mead, to Wines, to Rosie. Loops it over the top to Boak. Richards, inside kick. Rioli in the hole. Thumped away, but straight to Powell-Pepper. Brushes off Vlosten. Ran into a roadblock. Back to Rioli, stripped. Moraes, another touch. To the fake from Sam Powell-Pepper.
A little fake.
Shot in the lollies. Sweet. Bangs it long. Who wants to jump? Rosie. No. Front. Down. Front spot. Not paid the mark. Armstrong. Mansell. Still pretty hot this contest. Port Adelaide with 3 players back. Evans. Open side. They fan. Good commitment. Steely Green. Put his heart and soul in that. Wheels around. chips it inside 50, missed Lawler, and that was clever from Evans.
He shows really good football IQ, Evans. Even the pick up before. Friendly fly there, the big bank.
Steamrolled his young teammate.
Aaliyah to Drew. He's had a ton of it. Moraes. Rosie arched the back, ran a little fishtail, had a bounce.
Oh, Chase.
Bit off more than he could chew there, and Mansell lets him know.
Well, it's the youngsters showing the way in this aspect of their game, Richmond. It's through their chase and pressure.
22 possessions for Rosie, the most of any player on the ground.
He's a beauty, Mansell.
Smith gets the kick away inside 50. Armstrong goes back to the flight, and Sin playing the game of his life at the moment.
Sin. So last year in that final game, one of the youngest defences you'll ever see. Certainly the winner final.
Mentioned it's been on the list a few years now, Josh Sin, picked 12, 2021, but some players take longer than others. And in game 12, this is as solid as he's looked. Me through the cracks. Miller, good collect on the back pedal, the short. Chip kick from Trainer, he's got to work. Hale Smith pounces, drives a low ball inside 50, missed a couple, force it, got down low, Lee got there. Horn Francis. Bites off the inside kick. Berry, he got the pop bounce that he was after, hands it off. Richards shrugs, lines up, and it's home. Joe Richards. Second game for Port Adelaide. They come from everywhere to celebrate with him.
Yeah, too easy. Berry was always off to the races, wasn't he? You know, and Richmond just sort of looked around, didn't really want to cover. I know Brown's a younger player, but geez, you've got to cover the backside, the most dangerous space. Great effort. Good transition. Got the tails. No, he can't. He moves well, doesn't he? Yeah, absolutely.
Good
So,
sidestep.
got the tails up, Port. A lot of players, individual players who had demons from last week, getting back into form.
I think when you look at big wins like this, you look at the behaviours of mainly the Port Adelaide players, and it hasn't been showboaty. It's been good, solid ball movement, attack on the ball.
It's been good. We saw him Collingwood last night. They were big. Back into really good form. A lot of individuals back into form the week before against Port Adelaide. They were able to carry that through against the Dogs. It was a great game of footy, of course, but winning form.
He ripped that ball out of the air in the ruck lead to Horn Francis. He's been so unselfish today. He's looked for targets every time, and Rosie gets on the end of this. He was the only Port player to get coaches' votes last week in the loss to Collingwood, their captain.
And I think that's what I'm talking about, Dwayne. Like little actions like that would please the coach. I mean, no one would think twice if Horn Francis breaks the paint and has a shot at goal.
Again, Port's biggest ever win over Richmond is 84 points. They lead by 84 now.
It's been comprehensive. 9 goals, 10 from stoppage. It's an unbelievable. That's great. Yeah.
It's hard to defend from a centre bounce. We understand the rules and the space that the midfielders are afforded. It's just a clever kick off the line. Another action that Kenny and the coaching staff would be happy with. See there, just the explosiveness.
32-16, the clearance is in favour of Port. That's where the damage is being done. Looking really explosive, powering away from there.
Yeah.
They've got some power runners. Put Butters back into that lineup.
Richmond free. The second rucks in the middle. Thompson Dow's free. It wasn't a ruck infringement. It was a hole off the ball. Good to see Jacob Blight getting a run in the ruck for the Tigers as well. Get some experience there. followed him. Wines. Found some room, but it wasn't a lot. Very hammered.
The other thing with Richmond, because they haven't been able to stick their tackles, a lot of the Richmond players are now hanging off, which is also giving this Port Adelaide team room to run and carry and transition. Great tap.
Lawler heads toward goal. Brilliant. That's what Sam Lawler can do.
Absolutely. Haven't seen much of it today. Only his second game, of course, and probably unfairly. We're judging him against his performance last week, which was unbelievable. His first game against Carlton today, obviously quite a full disposal, but that just shows you the talent there. He's got that. Not many players capable of doing this, Jordan. Certainly not in their second game. One step back from outside 50.
There's a tap from Ross as well. It saw that he had, or felt that he had pressure from a Port Adelaide player. And you just see there, how clever is that little tap? 1-2. No issue from 55.
Oh, good. Used to be another bloke could do that.
It was a clean-handed take of possession and then a clinical finish. 18 possessions, 2 goals and a Rising Star nomination last week for Sam Lawler. It's been a tougher day at the office today. Wines free kick against. Jacob Blight. Short. Well, he could go for home. Capable. At the clock for kicks and meters gained against again last year. Jaden Short. There's Josh Carr, the man who will take the reins next year. There were a few calling for him to take the reins this week. The last week's 91-point loss. Burton caught.
Right. Big man, love that.
Getting
Some
some
of the competing block.
Absolutely. So a defender who's getting a chance to go on the ruck end, show what he can do up forward, see if he can slot this for his first in AFL footy. Good to have a Blight back at the Adelaide Oval. Malcolm had some good games here. Woodville played their home games here for a little while.
Really?
While he was in control of his world at one stage there, Brian. Wherever he went. Jacob Blight for his first in AFL footy. He's got it. Support.
He's a good kick of the footy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Uncomplicated.
Yeah. Well, force it. The big boys actually kick the ball out. Like Brown's a nice kick, not as tall as those boys, but force it showed he can kick the ball in that second quarter. Good finish there by Blight. Good to see him playing in a number of different roles as well, so you need to be able to test that out. Obviously, as Adam Uzo shapes his team for future years. Flexibility is so important in the modern game, Geordie, that you need to be able to see the players, what they're capable of in different positions, especially the big guys. So valuable if they can have that dual role of key position player and a ruck.
The first goals today, play.
And it's good to see Adam Uzo pull some levers and change some stuff up.
Yeah.
So, making sure they get as much as they can out of this contest. Still a lot of time left, and Blight has looked magnificent. The hopper from Toretto. Burgoyne, Burton, Francis, and they peel. Ollie Wines, who's turning the clock back. Mead, 1-2, Richards, for the pocket. Drew, Rosie. There's a little clinic-like.
Yeah, it was a really good run by Willem Drew. Jacob Hopper just couldn't go with him. It looks like he's running on the spot at the moment. From the centre bounce, just charge forward. Rosie certainly has this in his kit bag.
23 possessions and a goal. Make that 2.
How easy is that?
Beautiful kick, didn't overkick that.
Tripped around nicely.
Yeah.
That was a, once again, transition. We might get a look at it here just on the replay. The ability for Port Adelaide to come. So you can just see there, there's a scrappy little kick. Willem Drew and Jacob Hopper in the middle of the ground. Just doesn't have the endurance and the speed at this time of the game to get back and help. You can see there coming in. Now he's got 20 or 30 metres to be able to make an uncontested decision. And didn't blaze away.
Good to see some old school star midfielders resting in a forward pocket as well, just having a run forward as opposed to resting on the bench. Back in the middle now.
Ron France started full forward too.
Dan Curvis to Randall. Burton's been good today too. Pocket picked by Campbell. Has a bounce. Sizes them up. Goes for home. Just overcooked it a little.
Very interesting to see him at the back foot. 90 points. 90 points.
Maybe not today.
Mark Williams used to bring the shotgun out when they were about 10 goals, 12 goals down. I think that was...
Clarko wouldn't have loved that, would he?
No more.
Send heads wide. Couldn't go any wider without that being on the full. About to be flung back in. Lukosius subbed out. Banks subbed out if you joined us late, so both teams have had to jump with their sub. Lukosius ice on a knee. Banks with concussion. Mentioned the Tigers have Bolter, Lynch, Prestia, Gibcus, Lafau out amongst their players that are out there is Jack Lukosius. Port Adelaide with Zach Butters is probably the big one, but Sava Radaglia, Todd Marshall, Brandon Zerk-Thatcher.
Always been a challenge for Port Adelaide to keep their key forwards fit and healthy tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
Charlie, Todd Marshall's had his challenge as well.
Rosie somehow got out of the jam. Good fake. Too high. Playing advantage Mead. Sends it to the pocket. Double fisted punt by Trainer. Gets it to the boundary. Connor Rosie. 35 possessions last week against Collingwood. Their captain growing into the leadership. Wearing the traditional number one. Port Adelaide captains. Corrado. Light got hands on it. Jones has kept it in front. Lost it. Bauer. They're out here, the Tigers. Light. Mansell. Hope pass is good to half forward. Steely Green. One-on-one ahead of the ball. Fawcett just over his head. Alear for company. Hands it to McIntosh. Danced his way around Burgoyne. Magnificent. Beautiful to watch from Campbell McIntosh.
Good effort, great. Good effort by Fawcett too. He's done some nice
I
things.
love that run by Fawcett. You could just see him at the top of the screen, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Just missed it by half a metre.
Good work, good hands.
3 goals to 4 for the quarter. So you talked about mini wins at half time for Adamuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to reset.
And more inside 50s, more inside 50s as well this quarter, 12 to 10. The marks have been 13 each after the first half. It was 70 to 26, and the disposals only 74 to 53. So definitely performed better in this third quarter, the Tigers.
Thanks, Roo. Nice to see a couple of the headband wearers. Some of them to keep the hair out of their eyes, obviously.
It's coming back though.
Not the situation for Camden McIntosh. Got that egg cut look in full flight. No, I love it. Long kick inside 50. Alear. Oh, that's a good block from Jones. Into the back.
Well, he caught the corky too, Jones.
Hard to cork those legs.
Thick, aren't they?
Rocky Jones. Just the 4 possessions last week against Collingwood. Collingwood, by the way, picked him in the draft, pick 16, and Port Adelaide matched the bid for their academy product to make sure they got him. McIntosh, a couple of important possessions. Off hands, no Blight's taking the second grab.
Well, there's an option. You've spoken about it, Dwayne, the ruck. and certainly a ruckman drifting forward. He seems like already he can be that versatile player.
I like betting he competes.
Yeah.
He just looks like a competitor. Has a crack.
The little things for Richmond can become big things. Tiger Cubs, got a few of them growing before our eyes. And Jacob Blight in game 5 unselfishly centres it. Mansell. No push in the back. Sweet. Got it. Lost it. Now Curvis. Just trying to battle his way through.
On the ball? No. Lucky. Don't give him much time these days. This is where you just need to, if you're a midfielder or forward, just eyeball Nank. Try and get one on the run.
Lawler. Rosie. Farrell. Aaliyah. Working on a phone box there. Back pocket. Keeping it alive. And I'll take that ball in.
If I'm a Richmond forward now or a midfielder, I'm eyeballing Nank, saying, where do you want me?
He's not going to give it in.
Well, no one seems to be looking at him.
Yeah. Well, obviously the
There you go, maybe Ross. We had a little conversation to Ross.
Rosie asked his back. Berry. Wines. Won't keep it alive. Rosie's had it 27 times. Mead, 22. Wines, 22. The most for the Tigers. Ben Miller was 17.
Yeah, he had 11 or 12 at half time.
Yeah.
Miller.
Sweet with the flick. Roston, Toronto, Hopper, Trainer. White with the flyer. Burgoyne. Slips it wide. Darcy Burn-Jones. Mead. Burn-Jones. Trying to keep this ball running. Farrell. Boak. Mead. Burgoyne. Down the spine that travel. Sam Pepper has a bounce. Handball option is on. Jason Horn Francis. The Hyphen gang got him again.
Pressure's okay at half back or half forward for Richmond there. But like Jordy pointed at half time, it just players get sucked in, the Richmond players, and then Porter able to beat them on the outside. Certainly been able to spread the ground well today, Jordy. It's obviously started from clearance, but they've popped nicely. Burgoyne's been important, the kicking has been very good. Powell Pepper's worked his way to the game nicely.
Just repaid the favour to Horn Francis. Campbell nearly touched this off the Burgoyne boot, but they had options everywhere. Once they passed a couple of layers, I think it was Broad, these three.
And 6 players with over 10 scoring involvements. Port Adelaide, either 10 or more scoring involvements. Contribution.
Still a quarter and 4 minutes to go. Sweet. Dumped it down. Rioli, the boys mentioned, is getting some centre bounce work in this game for the first time in his career. Yeah, Curvis works Sweet under it a little. Lawler in the middle as well.
He was used at West Coast a few times in the centre bounce, wasn't he? But we just never saw that with Port Adelaide. Because you've got Rosie Butters and Horn Francis.
Willem Drew was in there, often minding someone else. Sin, wing tackled nicely.
We already had the pace.
And that's what they'd be happiest about. Tackles, more tackles than last week already, Port Adelaide. They had 43 last week.
Playing up, little tap down. Roston, Hopper. Campbell. Stolen, Sin. Read his eyes. Sam Pepper. It's a raffle. It's got options inside 50 everywhere. Darcy, Byrne, Jones. This time, front spot on Caleb Smith.
You speak about the leading pattern of key position players. I think you can also look at the leading pattern from the small forwards as well. They just took off back towards goal, Burn Jones, and then made eyes with a kick out. That was his time to then duck back up.
Game 201 for Darcy Burn-Jones. Everything turning up Rises at the moment for Port.
He's been fantastic. Obviously benefits from the transition again. They've been able to move the ball quite easily for back half, haven't they? I know we've spoken a lot about scores from stoppages, but as the games roll on, I says, move the ball far too easily. That's great interception. Pick 6 in another game.
See here, watch Burn Jones. Let him just take off towards goal. And he just come back up with it. Good kick by Pau Pepper.
We talk about some players needing more time. Darcy Burn-Jones, he was picked 52 back in 2013. He didn't get a game his first year on the list, played the whole season in the Sandford. Had to really work to earn his spot to become the star that he's become. Through, flicks it over the top towards Horn Francis. Knock out wide, short goes and gets. Horn Francis pushing the back late, so it'll be a downfield 3 to Mansell.
He's given away 4 or 5 free kicks. Horn Francis.
So he doesn't look confident. He's got the range, so sits it up to the pocket and hope. Stranger option, going to Steely Green in the pocket, but not sure he's a set play. Reset with the ball in. Jacob Block to do the ruck work against Sweet. 2 minutes left in the third. Sweet works his way to the front. Taranto gets a moment. Across the face. Tougher day at the office for Tim Taranto. 30 possessions in the win last week against Carlton. 8 clearances. 11 possessions so far today. Farrell. Bergen. Heads out wide. Over the head of Georgiades. And was that off a shin or a knee? Below the knee. Free kick. Burn-Jones. Rosie. Knows how long left. 1 minute signs up on the bench.
His 30th disposal, Dwayne.
Yep, a quarter to play.
Bought his own ball.
To Farrell, to Burgoyne. Evans, they worked it from one wing to the other, and maybe they'll go back again. Take some time off the clock, maybe, and then have the last say.
Super coach points.
Basketball game. Work the clock down and
They're on track for 500 disposals, the way they're going. 366 so far.
down the line. Brown, all red. See if the Tigers want to go. Brown with the inside kick, delightful. Floston does go. He's got a couple of options long. He puts it out in space. Race on. Seth Campbell, Adelaide. Seth shook him off, took him on. Bends it around the body. He's got something going on though, Seth Campbell. He's going to be one to watch for a long time.
So's Tom Brownlee's kicking.
Yeah.
Look at James Sicily about him the way he kicks. Rips it across the body.
And they're going to be exciting if you can break that first layer of defence and those small forwards get out into the open spaces. They will be exciting to watch.
Christian Moraes hits another target in sweep. Port running out of time though for one last charge forward. 81 points to margin with a quarter to play. Adelaide's biggest ever win over the Tigers is 84. 24 goals, the most they've ever scored against the Tigers. They've got 19 on the board now. The bounce back game for Port after after their 91-point demolition at the hands of Collingwood last week. They're 81 points up with a quarter to play in their first home game of the year.
All right, folks, look at this margin now. 81 points. Port Adelaide doing the job. Well, Richmond, at least they did something. They put on 3 goals, 4, which is a little bit better to see from then. But Port Adelaide, 6 goals, 2 in that third term. The worm, as you can see it on screen, is just growing. I think the margin's going to get out. But that being said, Port Adelaide might take the foot off the gas. But hopefully they just don't do that. They don't do that. And they continue. That's what you want. There we go. I just want to quickly say good day to a few people that came in. Of course, Albert's in there. He thinks the Carnage looking at about 100-point victory. I think you're about right there. Branko, I know, shocking. But you know what? Hello, Mr. Mike. Good afternoon. Welcome. Richmond win the last quarter. Thinks Albert. You never know. But you know what? We probably thought this, and you know, all the experts and commentators were saying this about Richmond prior to the season. They thought Richmond would be the team that would probably take out the wooden spoon this year. They'd be the ones that would struggle the most this season. So we kind of expected that. We were sort of caught off guard in round 1 when they played Carlton and had that, the magical wizardry comeback that got them over the line. But anyway, we just need Richmond to see they do a few things right, try and get a few of their structures right, their plays right. Win or lose is still Richmond are on a building process at the moment. So, you know, for all the Richmond supporters, you don't want to be too hard on them. You just want to see that they try to put their game together. Not too bad. All right, we are only 3 minutes away prior to the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. Let's duck over there. Have a look at the fantasy points. 112, Connor Rose, the only one over 100 at the moment. The goal scorers, I don't think much of, a little bit's changed there. There's a host of goal scorers there, and have a look at them all. Multiple for Port Adelaide. Willie Rioli still on 3. Sam Powell-Pepper up to 3. Connor Rose, Mitch Georgiadis, and Jace Burgoyne all on 2 for Port Adelaide. Ollie Wines, Richards, Jason Horn, Francis, Farrell, Evans, Byrne Jones, and Berry, all single goal scorers for Port Adelaide. A lot of goal scorers, which is always good to see in your team. They share the load a bit. For Richmond, goal scorers, McIntosh, Laylor, Fawcett, Campbell, Blight, Bauer. There are your goal scorers there. Let's just have a quick look at the top disposal getters before we're back in action on the final quarter here. Connor Rose, though, tops the table with 30. 6 clear of anyone else, the only one in the 30s. 15 and 15. He's had 5 marks, 4 tackles, 7 clearances, 2 goals. Probably man of the match so far. I think he'll get the 3 points come Brownlow time. You mark my words. Just remember that. Round 2 against Richmond. 3 votes. Connor Rose. Jackson Mead, next best, 24. Jace Burgoyne, 23. That's just a handful, midful. Tell you what, it's a plethora of Port Adelaide. Look at all the Port Adelaide. All the top right down here. It's probably the top 15 out of the top 17, all Port Adelaide. Jacob Hopper, though, he's doing the best for Richmond, 19 disposals, 7 kicks, 12 handballs, and Ben Miller next best for the Tigers on 17. Jaden Short there with 14 for the Tigers. Jason Horn Francis up to 13. Of course, Mac and Dosh, 13 there for the Tigers. Let me just roll down here and we're going to be back to the commentators because we're only a few minutes away for the bounce of the ball. Let's just have a quick look at the team stats while we're at this. Let me just double check, make sure that's reloaded up correctly. There we go. We're at about 160. Port Adelaide have already gone past their season average. Richmond, as you can see, haven't had much control of the ball. They're still 140 possessions behind on their season average. All right, let's head back down to the ground. And they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the final quarter, where Port Adelaide are leading by a streak.
Medals, he's on Peter Badco medals. He's done it all. He had the opportunity to go home to Geelong, which is well documented, but he stuck it out. He stayed here, and he's filling off his career full of runners, isn't he? He's playing wing today. He's had the 19 disposals, and maybe he can sneak a goal in this last quarter.
Yeah, spot on, Silk. He was running really well all throughout, so that's obviously a real watch for older midfielders, how they're running, covering the ground, and whether they're falling over or not, I think. And he's certainly both those. He's doing them really well.
I think he's reaping, he's clearly at the end of his career, but he's reaping the rewards, I think, also of the time and the energy you put into your body early. And sometimes that's hard to get across to young players. As soon as you can become a professional athlete, you just hope that will extend your career, and he's a prime example of it. He's done everything.
The 19th season for Travis Boak there, pick 5 back in 06. Mum Chicky's in the house, and his father Roger, Torquay Football Club legend, passing away when Travis was just 16 years of age. An amazing career, and it's not over yet for Travis Boak. Dow with the clearance. Aaliyah. It's a good luck and blight.
Geez, look, we'll celebrate Port Adelaide, no doubt about that, but small wins. Small wins in the second half, like out of moves they spoke about at half time. That's what you need to look at. And this man has certainly been a small win. Going forward, he went into the ruck, obviously played defence last week. He did a pretty good job at Harry McClife the first half. Nice club there.
The face a little. So do you think he could play forward instead of back then in the future for them?
Absolutely.
Well, especially Tom Lynch down there. It's obviously really challenging down there. Young Armstrong, it's going to be tough with no Tom Lynch around, but you'd love to see the development with another star big key forward, albeit towards the end of his career.
Yeah, Nankervis gets a spell in the ruck as well if he can ruck more often. Brown's been great as well. There is some upside from the Tigers today. One of their young guns getting some games of experience here. This will be great for them. Tom Brown in game 21, getting a bit of it. Early fly from Bauer, got up there. Ansell ducked into one, and the umpire said the tackle was high anyway, and he has a laugh about it.
I worked in the family car business, Dwayne. When I retired, I sold Tom Brown his first car.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what it was.
What times when they got their first.
You always look after it.
Get themselves a hot car, wouldn't they? A Brock Commodore or something.
There's a Toyota something.
Ryan Mansell. Work back. Enough.
He's another positive for Richmond. Mansell hasn't had as big a day as last week, but he's certainly one that's developing nicely as a younger fellow.
Played here in SA for Woodville Times for a little while as well. Ryan Mansell, Tasmania original. Chip kick over heads to Richards.
Like Joe Richards, Dave.
Yeah. And a good pick up. Unfortunately for Port Adelaide, Jack Lukosius. Another big pick up over the summer, off injured with a knee early in this game.
That's probably the other thing you can't manage, the older players when you use your sub, or you're forced to use your sub so early in the game. We saw Adelaide do it today with Rankin.
Here is Travis Boak with the cheers. Their record breaker and his pocket pick though. Steely Green to Mansell. Hit the pause button, went back again. Almost blind. Put it to grass. Jones, Rosie. Sweet for the run and carry. Burgoyne. Big Nag. Put his body in the hole. Good commitment from both players there. Rosie and Ross. Moraes. Richards. Georgiades started well. Burgoyne pushed in the back. It'll be downfield and it'll be the Hornets' ball. They want to come back. It's coming back. So
Wasn't that downfield?
It was worth it that Pushing the back.
Pushing the back. Up there.
As he kicked it.
Joe Burgoyne into the pocket. Sam Powell-Pepper. Gets it up long. On Francis in the square. Might not get the run at it. Dangerous thump down. Tied off the deck by Georgiades.
Jace Burgoyne's kicked the ball well, hasn't he? Taking after his uncle. 25 touches. He's had 11 kicks, 82%. 2 goals, 1 score involvements.
Good to have his uncle downstairs and father Peter. 240 games support in the premiership. 30 games for the Magpies in a premiership. I think his grandfather also played for Port. Sean?
Yeah, he played a few games back in the late 70s as well.
What a great history that is. On Francis, the chip. Georgiades on the end of it.
Actually, 80% is probably more than Dave.
Another good inside 50 by Horn Francis. Georgiades, one in the first, one in the second.
Started well. They need him to be big this year. It's Georgiades. He could be the difference maker. Motorcade pre-game through their stars. Charlie Dixon, Ron Cleary, Brett McKenzie. Fans turning out to salute them, which was nice. Well to King Charles, and they need someone to replace King Charles, and Mitch Georgiades could be one of those guys.
Going to be a bit of a story during the week with Jack Lukosius. We know he's been subbed out and said he's got a knee injury of some sort. We're not sure what that is yet, but with Radagalier back soon, Marshall out, Zerk Thatcher out, going to need more than just Mitch Georgiades in the forward line. So maybe Radagalier will play forward next week.
Yeah, good call, Rube. That'll be an interesting watch. Now Curvis knocks it down. Hopper, down. He's got under that a little. Got it to half forward. Evans left it behind. Trouble now. Green. Evans. Boak. Drew. Through the traffic nicely. Wines. Pocket picked. Bauer threads it out. McIntosh cut in half. Mead. Farrell. Bergman turns it over. Caleb Smith. McIntosh was cut in half. He's still on his knees, short. In the pocket. Nicely delivered to Armstrong.
Good lead, good strong lead, still presenting, it's important.
Harry Armstrong, debut last week against the Blues, 5 possessions, but put his body and soul into a couple of contests. Would have endeared him to it. Here he goes to back pedal. They're pick 23 from last year's draft. His first goal in AFL footy.
Still time. 14 minutes to get that first goal. The 3 first goal players, if that was the case. It's a good strike.
Over the head of Lear. Maybe that was what he was after. Or slap back to Boat, rolled in the tackle. Like I said, that was a handball. Lost him. Trainer. Taken by Armstrong again. So he gets another chance. He's had a sider from the other side.
Just inside the right post.
Struck that beautifully. And there's a moment he'll never forget. First goal on AFL footy.
Great memory, even though down on the scoreboard by a long way. Great memory, second game. Kicking that first goal. It's got a unique style actually, his kicker. It's like a high ball drop, but all left foot is a gun kicks, aren't they, Geordie? So it doesn't matter how
Every single one of them.
Nice mark there. I like how he just keeps presenting. So again, Adam moves out looking for small wins in the second half. The Geordie's got the distance. Scoring game again today. Yeah. Port Adelaide, the sixth team to score 20 goals this year in a game, which is very rare. You'd be lucky to go. Sometimes you go a whole year without getting 6 teams to kick 20 goals. Adelaide kicked 20 goals today.
It's a great thing. Malcolm like said all those years ago, we'll kick 20 goals, and if you can kick 21 and beat us, we're good on you. It's nice to see attacking back in vogue. Port Adelaide conceded 21 last week. Collingwood kicked 21 against them. Port Adelaide 20 on the board now. Plenty of time left to add to that. Shaw takes off to McIntosh with the away headband. He wore black last week in the home game. He's got the away yellow today.
Should have his number on it, I reckon, too. That's right. Just top it off nicely, Graham.
Ross. Just 7 games last year due to a foot fracture, Jack Ross. Good to see him having a good start to the year. Burgoyne. Possession 26 coming up for Jace. Sin. Georgiades. Hands have been good. His leads have been good. Loston. Left behind. Wines. Goes down low. Law fighting the fight in there. Wines with him. Couple of balls. A throw. Good trainer. Handed it to Hopper. Grabber onto it. And Port Adelaide off and running. On Francis. To the pocket, to the free man. Not quite. Burton's jumped forward. Steal himself a goal. Rocky Jones in the hands of trainers, so we'll keep an eye on that as well.
It's one of that marking contest from about 20 minutes ago. Thought it may have been a corky, but he actually hurt his knee.
In the contest, Jason Hall. Francis! Not high.
It had to be a free kick. Yeah, it just had to be a free kick. It was too high.
Great set of replay. Wines, Darcy Byrne-Jones missed his toe. Smith pumps it out of there. Armstrong.
He's presented well, especially in his third term.
Steely Green.
Just might have to hold it up. There's a spare Port Adelaide defender just sitting exactly where they want to go. It's a good kick.
Ross. Short. Luke Trainer. She's got a bit on that. Goal square. Good mark taken by Harry Armstrong. He's having a good last term.
The two of him. He was up on the half back line.
He can run.
That's a good, I mean, to run out the game like he has, keep presenting, keep showing up.
You're spot on. He might be 79 points down, but who's fighting the fight all the way to the wire? And he is one of those doing exactly that. Harry Armstrong.
Well, it's all about habits in these moments. When the scoreboard's going well against you, the game's over by early in the third quarter. It's habits. Especially younger players are building those habits, forming that resilience. So when you do physically develop all together, you become a strong, resilient team and more consistent. And this is a great time for me.
Did that on Bergman as well. He's been a great defender for a couple of years now.
You want to see this kind of finish to the game for the Tigers. They've kicked the last 2 goals. of the game, even though they know they can't win it. And they've got St Kilda next week at Marvel, Richmond. Winnable game, given what they did last week against the Blues. Port Adelaide, for the record, Essendon at Marvel next week. From the scramble, Vaughan Francis, Wines, Moraes, Rosie, out the front, Rioli, pocket, and Brown punches it to the boundary and cut off. Prison bar jumpers in the crowd, which is nice to see. Port Adelaide, first home game of the season. Rowley, hopefully okay. Ken Hexley's 13th and final season as Port coach. Seas were a little rough this week at Alberton and around the touch, but they're all smooth now. Good win this. Port season up and running. Broad long, off hands. Armstrong again. Mead. Vaughan Francis has had his own share of Burgoyne. Drew. Spear inside 50. Knocked away. It looked a little high from here. And it is from there too. Jaden Shaw. Crowd. I think Port's owed one. You've got to play them when they're there, even if you might have got one wrong earlier. Lawler.
Port Adelaide fans aren't happy time. We're getting our ears bashed in.
After today's performance by both teams, Roo, South Australians will be looking for a showdown grand final. Armstrong to the pocket. Take it out of play.
And good signs for the key forward. So Black goes down there in the second half. Good sign from him. Harry Armstrong's been fantastic in his corner, we've spoken about. Also, Fawcett in his first game as well, showing some nice things. In the absence of Tom Lynch, it's always going to be really challenging for them long down the line in the contest today. Showing some signs.
Armstrong using his bulk to do some ruck work now. He's in every game too. He's being asked a lot from Adamuze, but he's not complaining.
Rotating through the list.
Broad. Georgiades had it for a split second. So the umpire said play on. Frainer. Missed his target, still in green. Another game of experience. In front of a big crowd at the Adelaide Oval will do them the water good. Me. Farrell.
Boys, Lockie Jones is still in the hands of the trainers. They now just saw he's doing some warm-ups. They've heavily strapped his knee, but he might be one you just want to put on ice for next week at this stage of the game.
Yeah, there might be a few, Sean, you're right, that they would like to put in Cotton Law, but there's still 8 minutes of game time left. Power Pepper pumps it. Georgiades, Nankervis. How I said play on? Broad. And 150 for their warrior. Nathan Broad, just short. Brown. So in the hands of a man who can hit a target.
Straight down the middle.
Casually to McIntosh. Nicely delivered. Trainer. And top right the boundary nicely. Campbell. Pumps it. Inside 50. Fawcett. One up. O'Leary at the back. Kept it alive to Evans. Hunted down by Mansell. He hasn't given up either.
Got to be careful there. Really nothing to achieve in that instance there by Fawcett. You can see the background. Mansell's a little bit disappointed.
Has been some spice in this game. Normally is between these two.
He's got good closing speed, Mansell, doesn't he? That's stating the obvious, but he always senses when there's an opportunity to apply pressure and tackle.
Does he look quicker in 7 than he did in 31?
I'm going to say yes. A bit lighter.
Richards. Rosie. Almost. Mansalon happy again. Heads inside 50. Burton still forward. Ball dumped away. Travis Boak. This will be a moment. He doesn't get it back. Sam Palpepper. He might Travis. Well, Chiavis didn't give it to him. Kicked the goal himself.
There's a sense of occasion. Mitch.
He's been pretty good today, Mitch, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Travis Boak there and scored. It's always nice in a milestone game to have a big win, isn't it? And I'm not sure whether...
And to get a cheap goal. It's a
Cheap
little
goal.
cheapy.
Absolutely.
You can only imagine he didn't see him. Great shake of the tackle by Rosie. He's up to 35, so equalled that of last week. Where's Pokey?
Different goal kickers for Port Adelaide so far. Mitch Georgiades has the most. He has 4.
Yeah, good contribution. 16 disposals, 4 goals, 11 score involvements. Happy with that. We've all had a pretty good day, haven't they? To 445 disposals now, Port Adelaide. It's a huge number.
Nankervis, McIntosh. Still trying to attack and obviously delivered an attempt at 50 for Jacob Bauer. Game 9. Winds up. Gee, distance wasn't a worry. 24 possessions for Travis Boak.
Well, it's an Australian boy. Jacob Bauer.
Miller got hands on it. Out of play.
Has he got another year left in him, Sean? Moving all right, Travis Boak.
Yeah, when he's finishing the game full of run, he's the ultimate professional. He sets the standard, off the field with his professionalism and what he does, going away to America every year and getting a pre-season set up right. So there's no reason he can't. But it's a long year, and he'll probably reassess at the end of the year.
Hopper gets it inside 50. Campbell, the shrug. Gets the goal.
Come on.
No flip today.
No. Fair enough. Well, right in there. So he's had a
Last 3 goals.
contribution there. Last 3 goals. Hopefully Shadow's okay there.
It's a good goal.
Yeah, great goal. So some good signs. Campbell, still Green's done some nice things as well.
It's been a lot better for Richmond than it reads. It reads a 73-point loss as they're standing now, but they've kicked 9-13. They've found some players. They've looked good at times, and that's a winnable game next week.
Especially in the second half. Winnable game, absolutely. It's marvel. Just don't kill the players too long tonight there.
Adamuse tried some things. Jacob Blight in the ruck and forward. Good thump down. Short. Ran that little shimmy. Waller. Not his best. It's only in game 2 as well. Wines. Richards. Wines. They've been using the corridor most of the afternoon. Port Rosie uses the width to Boak. Big trouble to required. Boom. So they want to spread here. Bergman. Sin, who's found his mojo today, which is great. Long kick. Vaughan Francis got up there. Left it behind. Broad. Floats it away. It might be coming back. Sin. Good attack. Rioli. Farrell. Hobson was the required. Like I said, keep rolling, boys. Bauer. Taranto. Campbell puts the Jets on. He wants the 1-2 here. Ross. Campbell still running. It's too wide for Blight.
Dropped it. It was a wrong decision, wasn't it?
That man was hitting
Yeah,
the ball in that.
yeah, especially in the corridor. That kick just needed to go low and hard towards the goal line. I think it was Fawcett that was probably the closest one that was going to get back onto that one, but not to be.
Richmond at the moment on track to stop it from being a record loss. 73 points, the margin now. Their biggest loss to Port, 84. So they've done well in this last quarter to keep running it out. Here is a free kick to Sam Lawler.
They won the tackle count 8-3 this quarter. It's the first time tackling throughout the game. So they have competed. Won the contested possession +6. Now we know Port Adelaide are taking their foot off the gas, but purely just talking about Richmond here for a second, part of their development, they really keep competing.
Pockets are down. Port Adelaide fans for their first home game enjoyed this style. What can they do next week against Essendon at Marvel? Stay on the winners list. The Bombers on the ropes a bit at the moment as well. Ball back into play.
A week's a long time in footy
Yeah,
play,
it is a long time in footy, Brownie.
especially for Kenny Hinkley. A big week for Kenny. Yeah, he's the man, the great man. Camping out Kenny, well, that's cool.
Dow fights. Toronto got up. Wide looping ball. Lawler, good dance step. Found some room. Touched. Lines. Rosie gets it out of there. Position 37.
Yep.
Oh, he jumped from Georgiades. Oh, who tripped over who? Georgiades cramped. I think Miller may have a bit of cramp as well. He gets wide to Broad, who can't collect it. But it's good to see Georgiades with some lead-up marks as well. It's almost impossible to be living off contested marks as a forward in the modern game. You're going to starve to death if that's your only feed you're getting. You've got to get a couple of lead-up marks and ground balls. He's done that. Unless you're Tony Modra, of course. He was the rare squirrel who lived on nuts alone. Lawler up against the boundary in the pocket. Oh, not quite.
Had a really quiet first half, Lawler, but he's worked his way into the game.
Yeah, it would have been really challenging for all of Richmond list, to be honest, but especially the younger players after last week. It's just one of the more unbelievable wins you'd see. You know, and obviously, from a passionate supporter base, a great start of the career for those young. So very difficult to back up as a team. As individuals, there's a crowd for Boki.
Yeah, big round of applause every time he gets near it now. Sin.
So it's to sneak forward and get one, Wayne. It's not going to help.
Red Wall. Back pedals. Maybe one last consolation prize for the Tigers. Chip kick to the pocket. Oh, that's a free. Toronto's ball. But it'll be a nice moment post-game. Roo, you knew Russell Ebert pretty well. Be a nice moment post-game for Boki.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it'd feel a bit odd going past Russell Ebert, but I think that's just the type of person that Trav is. Probably underrates himself, but always puts team first, always puts others first and the club first, and just a ripping fella. I think he's got admiration across the whole competition, so he deserves everything he gets, Boki.
Taranto works it back. Front through. Farrell. Hoping for no injuries now. Not required. Bergman time to go. Oh, good grab. Richards on the run. Threads the eye needle to Boki. Sweep. Boak. Little bounce.
Oh, yeah, right.
To Richards. To Rosé. Boki's still there. Can both get one here, like, it'll bring the house down if they can. Drew couldn't find the handles. He's spent.
Just couldn't sit up for him. He might finish with the ball in his hands.
He sends the
That'd be-
two, don't
yeah,
give me
yeah.
charge forward.
They won't about structure here. It's charge forward.
Curvis still working hard. Hopper, hunted down. Down the spine. Ross. Some room to move. Not a lot to go to. Floats love it up to Campbell. No mark. Didn't hold it long enough, the umpire said. Burgoyne. Darcy Burn-Jones. But for Port Adelaide, the world is back on its axis. First win of 2025. First home game of the year. And they've done it in style by 72 points. 21-14, 140. To Richmond 9-14 at 68. In a celebration day for Travis Boak and the Power.
Well, good bounce back today. Well, on the Kenny team. I'm very proud of his boys there for going from the net guy. Xiaomi Mi's that'll be disappointed, but he knows where he is in this stage of the development. Saw some good things in the second half, but Kenny been lucky from pillar to post last week, so he'd be glad with the scoreboard. He can well and truly in control by half time. His senior leaders all played well. Rosie, Ryan's fantastic. Good to see some youngsters like Burgoyne continue their progression. Obviously, Travis Boak, it's all about him, the celebration of the game's record for Port Adelaide.
It's a huge effort, isn't it?
Massive.
Yep.
And 400's not out of reach.
Absolutely. I want to go 4 or 5 to go. So it's, really close, but they were set up in the first half, wasn't it? 13 goal first half from Port Adelaide. They were brutal. Their tackle pressure was good. Their pressure was good as we head downstairs to Shawnee Burgoyne.
Well, I'm with man of the moment, Trav. It was a huge week for the club and yourself personally. This must feel better.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, you get a win in front of your home fans, it obviously feels so much better. And I think just the way the boys responded, it was a pretty challenging week to start off with, and we had to move on pretty quick. And we know what our benchmark is and you know, what makes us go, and that's our pressure and our hunt. I thought that was really good tonight.
You personally, what role did you play in the week, in team meetings and on the track?
Look, I think certainly as senior leaders of the club, you've got to make sure we learn from those ones, and you can't stay low for too long. It's a long year. It was round one. It's obviously some disappointing stuff we weren't happy with, but you move on pretty quickly. You learn from those lessons, and so we come out and did that tonight.
And yourself personally, going past the great Russell Ebert, games at this footy club, what does that mean to you? I know you had your mother out here and you ran out with your niece, so what does it mean to you? Does it dawn on you the magnitude of what you've been able to accomplish at this club?
Probably not yet, but I think what makes it so special is, I mean, and I said to a few people during the week, I don't feel comfortable being named next to Russ. He's you know, he's God of Port Adelaide and certainly this state. And, he's meant so much to the Port Adelaide Football Club, and we've all learned so much from him, as you know. He's just a great person. It was a privilege to run out here again today, and with my family, it was just so special, mate. And that's what Russ is about. He's all about the family and the Port Adelaide family, and that's what it was today.
You're about to throw over to Rue in a sec with Connor Rosie. He started the year off with 35 and 39. How proud of you being a former skipper, seeing your current skipper lead the club through what was a tough week?
Yeah, mate, I'm so proud of him, and probably even more falling on his shoulders with Zach out as well. And you just see what he is as a leader around the club, and he's only a young leader. He's still learning the way, and the most important thing is to lead by example, and he's done that to start off the year. Even though we didn't get the result last week, he's still leading from the front, and he's going to be a special captain for this footy club.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having the chat, and go enjoy the win with the boys.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Welcome to Super Saturday Live on Fox, brought to you by Toyota. Footy's back. Oh, what a feeling. David King, Jack Rewalt, you can't stress What an important player Travis Boak is for this Port Adelaide Football Club, and the record he breaks tonight, it's truly astonishing.
Yeah, and I love to see a guy in a milestone game get a bit of the footy. 25 touches, 7 in score involvements, and they smashed them. Let's be honest, 21 goals is a huge win. It's a great celebration when you can sit back as a group now and send him into the night tonight with it. I reckon there'll be a couple of ales had and a bit of a gathering, and they probably need it. They've been under pressure for the last couple of weeks. Ken's been under a lot of heat, not a lot of changes in terms of all of those mechanics, but a great day for the club.
Yeah, it is. And I think regardless of the result, and obviously if they'd lost, it would have been heat on. You're right, it doesn't take a lot of that pressure off the Port Adelaide Football Club in Kenny. They'll still be under the microscope, but I think they would be happy to get a win, because you can get into this mould of trying to find the next win when you do have a loss like that in an early round. But a pretty professional performance from Port Adelaide.
And we have to stress that is 393 games for Port Adelaide for Travis Boak, which includes official matches from pre-season tournaments. So he's actually sitting on 373 premiership matches. So still a fair way to go for the 400 mark.
Yeah, that's another season.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. He'll still go very close. I mean, you just got to play your role. You just got to play your part. He doesn't have to be best on ground, Travis. Just another contributor. I love seeing these things. I really do. But one thing we are still getting better at is celebrating our champions
Whilst they're playing.
Yeah, other codes do this really well. I know that the AFL do it really well in recognising the 200, 300, 400 club, all those sorts of things. But I just love seeing this in front of your own. You know, Jack, I don't know what your thoughts are, but we just don't see this enough.
Well, you think about the impact that he's had, not only on the Port Adelaide Football Club, but the state of South Australia. Like, he's the captain of that football club. He's drafted the same year as me, King, so it sort of makes me feel pretty old. But it's a credit to, I think, the way that he's prepared himself. He is the true ultimate professional. And what he's given for Port Adelaide, what he's given for the game, and then to pass Russell Ebert, who Travis described him as a god of Port Adelaide and a god of football in South Australia, is an incredible market. You need to celebrate your champions, because they're not here forever.
They'll probably need a statue outside of Adelaide Oval now, Travis Boak.
Be a small statue, just a little one at the front there. This is great.
Beautiful scenes. Ollie Wines and Sam Powell-Pepper, who's spoken beautifully in previous times about what a role model and almost father figure Travis Boak has been to him. They live together, and now they get to share this very special moment as he has chaired off Adelaide Oval. And every Port fan has stayed back to say thank you to Travis Boak. And as always, he gives his time to fans as well. Let's get into our BP premium performance, and it is Sam Powell-Pepper, who we missed last season. Obviously played just the 3 games before that cruel ACL injury. We were reminded of his best today.
I think he's the heart and soul of this forward line. He plays with an anger, a real vigour at stoppages that's hard to stop. He's all rib tear and busting. When it comes off big. Great to see him back into some good form today. 16 disposals, 10 of those were involved in scores. 3 goals, 2 for himself personally. Just terrific to see him back out there applying his trade.
6 marks inside 52. I think when Sam Powell-Pepper got to Port Adelaide, they flagged him as potential inside mid. But big game again.
Hold that thought. We're off to a break, and then we're off to Marvel Stadium for the Saints and the Cats under the lid in Saturday Night Footy.
You're watching Super Saturday Live on Fox, brought to you by Toyota.
All right, folks, there we go. That is game, set, match. Port Adelaide, 72-point victors over the Tigers. Looking at the final quarter, though, Port Adelaide just took their foot off the gas. 2 goals won the final term. Richmond, however, 3 goals for. Richmond won the final quarter. So I think they've got to be pleased with that. And they'll just, as I said, they'll go back into the review, have a look at a few things. Of course, they had the big man, Tom Lynch, their spearhead down forward out. So that didn't help the Tigers. But they'll certainly be pleased that they didn't give up and they won that final quarter. But there we go. The coach of Port Adelaide will be very, very happy that they got the victory tonight, because a bit of pressure on him. I forget his name. Just off the top of my head, my gosh. Ken Hinkley was there with a bit of a smile. There we go. So it was a good game for Port Adelaide. They did everything right out there today in Adelaide Oval. Of course, Adelaide, the crowd always gets behind Adelaide when they're up and about. The thing you got to try and do is shut the crowd out and get on top early, get them quiet, and put your foot down on them. But that being said, Port Adelaide are expected to be up the top somewhere this season, at least in the top 8 by all accounts. And Richmond had just got a rebuilding year, try to get a game style rolling with their coach. So don't take anything away from Richmond supporters out there. Keep your head up. It's just a year that you're going to have to expect. Maybe this year, next year. Port Adelaide, probably more pressure on Port Adelaide to perform this season. Being said, it was a good game. And the poll in the live chat, you got it right again. Port Adelaide, 63% win for Port Adelaide. I think we've only missed on one game this year in the poll that we've got that wrong. So if you're wanting to think who you think's going to win this game, just check out the poll that we have, because the poll is generally on the money. Got a lot of smart football people in the live chat here in the broadcast, so it's always good and fun to have everyone in here. J-Mar, the stats man, good to see you. He's already tipped 3 from 3. He's tipping a Geelong win in the next game, and that is the next game, folks. St Kilda taking on the Geelong Cats. Geelong have got to make the way down the highway to Marvel Stadium. It's going to be a St Kilda home game. It should be an absolute cracker. It should be a good game, so we're looking forward to that one as well. But this was a good, entertaining game. What we probably expected, but there we go. Football, you just never know in football what can happen, even if one side's, going well and the other team's rebuilding. I tell you what, when you give it your all and you show a little bit of fight, anything is possible. So don't forget, the next game coming up in around about 20 minutes' time, folks. Come on over there, and if you want to listen to that game, St Kilda taking on Geelong, that'll be happening in about 20, 25 minutes' time. And, of course, tomorrow, 3 games happening tomorrow. I'm not sure whether I'll get through all of them. I think the games on tomorrow, Brisbane Lions will be taking on West Coast Eagles, another good game. I think I might try to cover that one. I should be around, so I should try to cover that one, the Brisbane West Coast game. Then the next game is North Melbourne taking on Melbourne. Unfortunately, I think I won't be able to. I'll have to bypass that game because it'll run into the Brisbane West Coast game. And, of course, the final game we'll definitely be doing. I think that's going to be an exciting game. That is, of course, Fremantle, the Dockers, taking on the Sydney Swans over there in Perth. I reckon that's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game, that one, folks, Fremantle-Sydney. You know what? I think the next game will be pretty good too, St Kilda, Geelong. Of course, we're all tipping Geelong, I would imagine, but St Kilda, they can turn the tables on Geelong at Marvel Stadium. They play Marvel Stadium pretty well. I'd expect them to do rather well. Let's see if you head on over here what the poll says, how the voting goes, what everyone... thoughts are on who's going to win that game. There we go. All right, folks, that's it. That's all from me. From now, I'll leave the scoreboard up and the chat alive for another 5 minutes, just in case people are going to come in and check out the score. But as you can see, just again, have a looking at that worm. It was very consistent through Port Adelaide. They just kept a workmanlike load on their game today. And, of course, up until three-quarter time where Richmond just steadied the ship, Port Adelaide took the foot off the gas, and it was good to see Richmond come out at least with a win in that final quarter. But I'm excited for the next game, folks. St Kilda taking on Geelong. Thanks, Ryan. Ciao for now. Ryan, don't be too disappointed in your Tigers. You know, it takes time. All teams get there when they're rebuilding. All teams have that. Hey, Kate, who would win in the MCG? Oh, I think the MCG, I think, Geelong's always played pretty good at the MCG, I think. They play pretty good. They play pretty good at GMHBA Stadium down at home, but I think they do play the MCG pretty well. Marvel Stadium's, well, it's a little bit different. And St Kilda do play okay there. That's what I'm saying. It could be a tight game. Look, my tips, no doubt my tips Geelong. Geelong have been Geelong have been pretty good, so they're going to be hard to beat, and I'm sure they're going to go in as short prize favourites to win that game. So we'll soon find out. That starts in 20 minutes, folks. We'll see you back if you want to come over and listen to the St Kilda Geelong game with all of us. But from me today, we're Geelong big 72-point winners. 21-14, 140 defeated Richmond 9-14-68. It was another great game. Hey, football, you got to love it. Fun fact that I actually go for Fremantle. Oh, there we go, Kate. There we go. I tell you what, that is a game I'm really looking forward to on Sunday. Fremantle taking on Sydney. Now, we all think Sydney should win that game. Of course. But, you know, Fremantle at home with the crowd, if Fremantle gets that jump, I tell you what, Fremantle play pretty good. I'd be, you know what, I'm tipping Fremantle in an upset, even though it's a home game on Sunday. There we go. All right, folks, that's all from me. As I said, I'll leave this up for another 5 minutes for all the latecomers who want to come and check out the score. Port Adelaide, Richmond here. And then we will catch you on the next game in around about 20 minutes. St Kilda, Geelong.